welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining me once again on another one. Um, I hope you guys caught me with the other live that I did right here, the whole Amanda Seals, the live debate. Shout out to Q from the To Be Fair show. Um, hey, I was on that panel. I did a recap there. There were certain things that we weren't able to discuss more in depth. Certain things that was not addressed that I would love to address um, on this panel. So I'm not going to obviously play the whole thing. There's just a couple of points that were overlooked, downplayed, and totally pushed to the side that I really want to dive deep into, and I think it will be a very, very, very good show. But before that, um, I'm going to do a couple of icebreakers here just to warm myself up, before we get into it. And again, it shouldn't be too long as far as the recap of the whole Amanda Seals debate on pretty much how she just made FBA look bad, really made them look bad. But you'll see what I mean when the take that I'm gonna have on this. But before we get into that, um, I kind of want to go over because right now, as we see here, this is also as a pro-black channel, it's also a political channel here too, right? So we're seeing a lot of FBAs, Tariq Nasheeds, and all these people that don't really care for black people and black progress, even as at the behest of black people. You know, other black people is just cannon fodder, and they really don't care about black people. So when you hear the things that FBA, ADOS, Freeman say, all the things that they say, it all the things that play back in my mind. If anybody is a fan of I shouldn't say a fan, admires Malcolm X and who Malcolm X is, and you read his speeches as well as other people talking about, black bootlickers and house Negroes and things of that nature. When you listen to FBA talk, it's like Malcolm X knows exactly who he was talking about. He knew exactly who he was talking about because these FBAs pretty much repeat everything that Malcolm X said. That hey, look, you got two kind of slaves. You got the field Negroes and you got the house Negroes, and then FBA verbatim says everything about the character of what you think a house Negro would be. It's like it's like wow, you can't really make this stuff up. So what I'm going to do right now, before we get into the main topic, what's up, Anthony? What's up, brother? Well, thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. Right before we get into the main topic, I think we need to play Malcolm X's speech on the house Negro and the slave Negro, right? To really understand some of our people and their disconnect and their allegiance and the Stockholm syndrome, this drapetomania of just holding white people near and dear to their house. I don't know if it's a sign of cowardice. I don't know if it's a sign of ignorance. Because hey, look, human nature, people, you always want to be with the winning team. And black people here in America, we're not the really winning team right here. We're resilient, but we're not really the winning team here. So you're going to have some cowards say, look, I'm going to jump ship. I want to be with the winning team. So if I have to step on my other brothers on face in order to do it, I'll do it. But let's go over here of Malcolm X. This is the animated version. I love the animated version of Malcolm X speech. And I'm going to stop it when he hits the nail in the head, when you engage in conversation with these FBA goons, cultists, Nasheedites, these minions. So I'll start sharing it now.
There was two kinds of slaves. There was the house Negro and the field Negro. The house Negro, they lived in the house with master. They dressed pretty good. They ate good because they ate his food. what he left. They lived in the attic or the basement, but still they lived near their master. And they loved their master more than the master loved himself. They would give their life to save the master's house quicker than the master would. The house Negro, if the master said, we got a good house here, the house Negro said, yeah, we got a good house here. Whenever the master said we, he said we. That's how you can tell a house Negro.
And this is very true. When you're talking to FBA or people who on black people, house Negroes that assimilate, not adapt. We all, as black people in this country, we have to adapt to the American way of life that is mostly Eurocentric and is anti-black, right? So black people adapt. House niggas assimilate. So what you're seeing right here is an assimilation. So when they talk bad about other black people, they use we, my country, we, I did this, we did this, we did that. These are the things that they say.
If the master's house caught on fire, the house Negro would fight harder to put the blaze out than the master would. If the master got sick, the house Negro would say, what's the matter, boss? We sick. We sick.
Exactly. This is the whole, we all say the same thing when you have black people and they talk. Look, I can't say you can't be a proud black American. That's not what I'm saying. You could be a black American like me, right? That came here recently. You could be a black American that's been here several generations, right? But at the same time, there's only so much patriotism you can have. And I said this before. Chris Rock said in his stand-up, he says, as black people, we gotta look at white people, America, as the uncle who paid your way through college, but molested you. You know what I'm saying? So I would even be that gracious, but understand what Chris Rock is saying. So have this unadulterated patriotism and this is mine and we did this and this is my country and my country this, my country did that. No one asks black people for their goddamn opinion on how to run the country. Let's get that straight. Black people that politically have no power in this country whatsoever, right? So to say we did this and we did that when it comes to politics is really something that is really bewildering to me, as far as like, you're not making decisions after the after the Civil Rights Act has been implemented. You know, saying black people politically kind of splints off and we kind of lost our momentum. So yeah, so black people can be patriotic, but when you say we, you're not included in the major decision makings, good or bad.
He identified himself with his master more than his master identified with himself. And if you came to the house,
and that's true because FBA ADOS, they don't want to identify with who they are. They don't want to identify with who they are. They want to be just white adjacent as close as possible. If you say you're African, they get mad. But at the same time, they want reparations and all these things for what happened to their African ancestors. Make it make sense. You don't want to be African. Africa got nothing to do with you. But there you are. You want to tether yourself to an African descendant. Like you can't have it both ways. That's why I'm saying this is FBA is a fraud. It's an online hashtag.
Negro and said, let's run away. Let's escape. Let's separate. That house Negro would look at you and say, man, you crazy. What you mean separate? Where is there a better house?
Then they're going to say, oh, separate? I'm not going to separate. I'm going to stay right here because I'm not a fleer. I'm going to stay right here. Again, nothing wrong with staying in America. That's not what Pan-Africanism is you leaving where you are, is doing the best that you can, facilitating the needs of your people politically, financially, and socially. right? For the betterment of all people, no matter where you are globally. So you don't have to move to Africa in order to be a Pan-African. That's like a misnomer that these goofballs have, right? But but when you're here, right, you aligning yourself with white supremacy is what makes you the house Negro, adopting all of his ideologies of way he thinks, looking through the lens of red, white, and blue, and thinking that's the right way of seeing it, while denying who you are, who your roots are.
Than this? Where can I wear better clothes than this? Where can I eat better food than this? That was that house Negro. In those days, he was called a house nigger. And that's what we call him today, because we still got some house niggers running around here.
They got Obama's shucking and jiving.
This modern house Negro loves his master. He wants to live near him. He'll pay 3 times as much as the house is worth just to live near his master. And then brag about, I'm the only Negro out here.
Again, sounds like Tariq Nasheed lives in, I don't know, California, like let's say Chatsworth is mostly a white area where he lives in. So he lives in a white neighborhood, got kids that's 1/4 black, lives with his white mother-in-law and be with his white relatives. And if you follow this channel and you follow other people, he goes everywhere with his mother-in-law, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? If your mother-in-law is white, it is what it is. But don't shame other people by saying, well, you're not really black. You know what I'm saying? When you consciously made a decision to be with your wife that's mulatto, that has a white mother-in-law, versus people like me that got black family on both sides. Mother's black, father's black, great grandparents is black, grandparents is black. So, that's the sad part.
I'm the only one on my job. I'm the only one in this school. You're nothing but a house Negro. And if someone come to you right now and say, let's separate, you say the same thing that the house Negro said on the plantation. What you mean separate? From America? This good white man?
And I should have pulled it up. If for those there's a symptom. Well, it's pseudoscience, it's scientific racism, psychological pseudoscience, where you have during the 1800s, you had this forgot his name. I hope I'm pronouncing right. Called drapetomania, basically saying, hey, he did a psychological analysis, and because he doesn't understand why slaves ran away. He doesn't understand why slaves run away. So he's like, why would a slave run away from his master? He has a plantation here. We give him good work. We give him food. If you're Ted Cruz, or you say that or Republican, you say African Americans learn skills when they were slaves. They learned skills. You know what I'm saying? So why would they run away? So it's this mindset that House Negroes have that of drapetomania, of thinking that if you to run away from a plantation or run away from white supremacy, that yes, that's mentally that's mentally that's mentally unstable. That's mentally retarded. That's something that's not psychologically sound. Why would you want to run? So it's drapetomania, mixed in with Stockholm syndrome, with post-traumatic slave syndrome, all roll in one. Malcolm X is talking about FBA people in this day and age. He's talking about house Negroes then. If Malcolm X was still alive and he was to hear all the things that a segment of Black America is saying, the lower segment of Black America is saying, called FBA, he'd be like, wow, I did this speech like 60 years ago, talking about these same people.
Where you going to get a better job than you get here? I mean, this is what you say. I ain't left nothing in Africa. That's what you say. Well, you left your mind in Africa.
And I need to use that phrase a little more. It's like, I ain't African, I ain't this, I ain't this. Why I left in Africa, left your mind in Africa. So they revere Malcolm X, but they don't hold any of his teachings. And I want to do also a video about that, where scholarship and intellectualism is dying, is at a downward spiral. Because if you were to say, Kofi, whose shoulders do you stand on as far and where you get your ideology from? You're nobody. You're just some person on YouTube just talking, just yapping, right? I could say, okay, I could say, you know what? I I hold myself dear to my teaching. The standards shows that I stand on and where I speak from is from Dr. Asa Hilliard, Dr. Leonard Jeffries, John G. Jackson, Dr. Clark, Dr. Ben, Ashwa Kwesi, and the list goes on and on and on. You know, I guess those people. So if you know their body of work, right, you could put my feet to the fire, and there's a framework for me. When you go hold my feet to the fire and say, hey man, you're off code. These men didn't teach that, right? FBA, they don't do that. And the people who they do revere, right, they hate their rhetoric. Malcolm X is a Pan-African. They talk about Francis Cress Welsing. Tariq Nasheed has Francis Cress Welsing in the Hidden Struggle Museum, if it's open. I heard it's being closed down. It's only open up for a happy hour and for comedy clubs and for booty shaking. But it's a museum. But he would talk about Francis Cress Welsing and all this. Francis Cress Welsing was a Pan-African. He has Dr. Henry Clark in there. Dr. Henry Clark is a Pan-African. But at the same time, he goes online talking bad about Pan-Africans. FBA are talking bad about Africans. The same racist tropes that white people use against black people in America during that time, during slavery and during Reconstruction, even up to the 60s and 70s. People, the lower echelon of black society called FBA is now using it against other black people. What's the saying? Hurt people hurts people. And if you don't know any other way, if you're in America and all you see is how you've been hurt, and you've seen how damaged you've been by it, and you've seen consciously or subconsciously of how it shaped your life. Now, when you get a little power and you believe in this hype that, well, I'm better than these other people, the same mechanisms and the same rhetoric that was used against you to make you feel like shit, you can do the same thing to other people. It's something. It kind of reminds me of the Zionists of what they're doing now to the people in Gaza. They know what genocide is. They know what to be occupied by another powerful force and be genocided and ethnically cleansed. But guess what? Now they have the upper hand. Who cares? I got the upper hand now. I'm not saying FBA will ever get to that point. You know what I'm saying? They'll never get to that point. They're too much of a cowards to even get to that point. They're not even organized. But I'm saying that to say is that it is a human nature thing, but it's also showing you how troubled and psychologically damaged these people are.
On that same plantation, there was the field Negro. The field Negro, those were the masses. There was always more Negroes in the field than there was Negroes in the house. The Negro in the field caught hell. He ate leftovers. In the house, they ate high up on the hog. The Negro in the field didn't get nothing but what was left of the insides of the hog. They call them chitlins nowadays. In those days, they call them what they were, guts. That's what you were, a gut eater. And some of you all still gut eaters. The field Negro was beaten from morning till night. He lived in a shack, in a hut. He wore cast-off clothes. He hated his master. I say he hated his master. He was intelligent. That house Negro loved his master. But that field Negro, remember, they were in the majority. And they hated the master. When the house caught on fire, he didn't try and put it out. That field Negro prayed for a wind, for a breeze. When the master got sick, the field Negro prayed that he died. If someone come to the field Negro and said, let's separate, let's run, he didn't say, where are we going? He said, any place is better than here.
And that's another conversation we need to have. So all our Pan-African brothers and all black people that are intelligent, they'll know, like, hey, look, even Martin Luther King said it. I fear I'm integrating my people in a burning building. So once we all know that we have been integrated into a burning building, it just makes sense to have an exit strategy, because the building that Black Americans helped create, we didn't set it on fire. The people in charge are the people who set it on fire. So if we know this building's on fire and it's coming to a cinder, we have to have an exit strategy. But I think FBAs are so hateful and admire white people so much that they're going to burn down with the building. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. Legacy over. You know, so I just find that to be very interesting. So I'll just pretty much end it right there. I think I just wanted to pretty much share that with you guys so you can see the parallels of FBA, and when Malcolm was talking about the field Negro versus the house Negro, and those attributes that Malcolm laid out, we know FBA doesn't have a field Negro on mindset. They just simply don't. They just simply don't. Right? We all can see that. So there's another juicy thing, and I'm gonna play. After this, we're gonna get into it. While we're on and speaking about FBA, right? Tariq Nasheed just put his other foot in his mouth again, right? Always changing what FBA is. I've been saying this, if you guys have found me saying this for years now. Every platform I go on, either it's this one or someone else's, Tariq Nasheed is always changing the definition of FBA, right? So now FBA is crying because he changed the definition again. Let's check
Correct
it out.
me.
Go ahead.
Is
Like that, you know?
well, the part that I don't understand though.
So this is him on Vlad TV again, because he wasn't supposed to come on Vlad anymore because Vlad disrespected the minister, yada, yada, yada. Or I think it was probably Lord Jamal or whatever. But I know Tariq also was like, oh, Vlad's making money off of black people and just run his name through the dirt. But obviously Vlad came through with the bag. Vlad with the bag. And Tariq Nasheed, a person that has no dignity or self-respect, you know, he's going to take the bag and do what he has to do and make believe that never happened. So now you're going to see in real time, he's going to change the definition of what FBA is again. To me, as far as what I witnessed, this is like his third time he changed what the definition of FBA is, at least 3-4 times. So without further ado.
Like that, you know?
Well, the part that I don't understand though.
Like that, you know?
Well, the part that I don't understand though, and correct me,
Go ahead.
is you're telling me that being a foundational Black American isn't a choice, it's a lineage.
Right.
So if Drake's lineage through his father is FBA, doesn't that automatically make him FBA just by bloodline?
No, also blood and land. Blood and land, same thing.
Land.
Yeah, land too. You gotta
Blood and land. That makes no sense. I forgot the doctor's name. It's Dr. Kuju. I forgot his name. It's an old video where he explained who you are is based upon your lineage. Your lineage doesn't have to do with where you are born. he simply said something. I think he wrote the first book, not Dr. Umar. Oh man, I forgot his name. He wrote a book about educating black boys. I forgot. I forgot the brother's name, but he wrote a book about educating black boys, educating black boys. And in this lecture he had, if he basically just broke it down in very simple terms. He's saying if you get on a flight to Europe, now this is back in the days now, and you get on Delta Airlines, and your mother's pregnant on Delta Airlines, and your mother has you on the plane on not Delta Airlines, Eastern Airlines or whatever, on Delta Airlines, right? And she's in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. You're no longer an African American. So what do they? So what's your nationality now? Is your nationality now Delta? Is your nationality now the Atlantic Ocean? Do they wait till you get to your destination in France so you can be French? No, that's not how it works. It has to do with who you are. A lineage has nothing to do with borders, international borders or not. That's not how a lineage works. But I'm going to have Tariq Nakoon talk the nonsense.
And land, same
Land.
thing. Yeah, land too. You're not in America. You're in Canada.
So
you know what I'm saying?
you take the same Drake, same
Right.
mother.
Mm-hmm.
He grows up, let's say in Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
He would be FBA.
Right. If he was born here, yes. If he was born on this land, experiencing Memphis, because Memphis has a very unique history.
Yes, it
Memphis ain't no goddamn Canada. You know what I'm saying? So, like that, you know?
I mean, there's more to it, but he pretty much put his foot in his mouth. There's a longer version to it. I don't want to deep dive into this too much, but again, he said FBA, you're FBA if you have one parent that has been here for generations who could trace their lineage back to chattel slavery, which is not an easy task to do, right? It's not a real easy task to do because who knows? Again, that's a whole branch of a whole other conversation. But now he's saying, oh, no. Drake's father, he's FBA, but Drake is not FBA because he was raised in Canada. So it has nothing to do with a bloodline. It has nothing to do with lineage. This is the most stupidest, retarded thing I've ever heard. But I've been saying this forever. So you have Liberians that could trace back to their lineage back to chattel slavery in America. You have people from Canada that can trace back their lineage here to chattel slavery in America. You have people of so-called Caribbean descent, right, that were also here. People from Florida and other places, right? It just doesn't make any sense. So FBA is losing it right now. They don't want to have a conversation about it. They don't want to talk about it because then it's an obvious scam. And this is their leader. They like to lie and say there is no leader, right? When everything he says, they repeat verbatim. Everything he said verbatim. It's a script. They know what the obvious questions people's going to ask them and challenge them on, and they repeat everything what Tariq Nasheed says. Again, these are incel people with very low information, very little education, not well read, not well traveled. Again, the very, very bottom of the barrel intellectually when it comes to Black Americans. But these people have the loudest voice and they make Black Americans look bad. So I love what is happening right now, because it exposes, again, the fraudulent group called FBA as far as it's not something that's concrete. It's something that's ever changing. And you can't, if you're saying that, hey, look, I'm my lineage has to do with me being a Native American with an teensy little tiny bit of African, but I got that European DNA and all this other stuff, and you just need one parent and that's it. Once you have one parent, it doesn't matter who else the other parent is. Now he's saying something different. But he's been saying, if any of you look at his lives that he does on YouTube, depending on who the person is and how he feels about the person, he's going to change it up because he's done this before. He said, "Oh no, that person that's a tether. If you're Nigerian and you're American, that's that tether class shit. You must be a tether too. I don't believe you." And then he goes saying this. So I'm going to play it again so you can really hear the BS that he just said.
Like that, you know.
Well, the part that I don't understand, though, and correct me, is you're telling me that being a foundational Black American isn't a choice; it's a lineage,
right?
So, if Drake's lineage through his father is FBA, doesn't that automatically make him FBA just by bloodline?
No, also blood and land, same thing. Yeah, land too.
Blood and land is also a Nazi chant. So, and if you remember in Charlottesville, they said blood and soil, like blood and soil. Jews will not replace this, yada, yada, yada. So again, FBA, they got no problem. They let their coon shine and let them do what they do. They got no problem with Kanye West saying he's a Nazi, align themselves with Nick Fuentes and just being alt-right, align themselves with racists. No, don't look that way. Let's look at these tethers here. Let's look at these Jamaicans here. That is not making Black people look bad in any way, shape, or form like your Kanye West. You know what I'm saying? It's so, but no, it's totally fine. It's totally okay. The whole thing is a fraud. But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut it off. But I just wanted to show you that whole. I'm not saying he's intentionally doing that, but it would make sense why he would repeat a Nazi chant and Nazi rhetoric, because that's his mind frame. So it's not a surprise that he will go there to that whole blood and soil nonsense.
You're not in America. You're in Canada. So you know what I'm saying?
You take the same Drake, same mother.
Mm-hmm.
He grows up, let's say in Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
He would be FBA?
Right. If he was born here, yes. If he was born on this land, experiencing Memphis, because Memphis has a very unique history.
Yes,
Memphis ain't no goddamn Canada. You know what I'm saying? So, like that, you know?
Well, the part that...
Yeah, so I just find that very interesting. You know what I'm saying? Because he just excluded a lot of Black people. A lot of Black people that has both parents that are Black American. And you excluded a lot of people. Now, this is coming from a man who wanted a mulatto wife, right? Right. If you follow my channel, you know the quote when he was doing on Mac lessons and Tariq Elite and all that other bullshit, right? When he's doing Mac lessons, and he specifically wanted a mulatto woman, right? That's half Black, half white, but the mother has to be white, right? So his wife, I think her name is Peanut, and she has a white mother, and that's it. That's how he has his family. So that's how his lineage does. So he intentionally diluted his Blackness. Why? I don't know. I think he just doesn't like Black women, because why would you say that? And he obviously did that. I don't believe in that love is love bullshit. Love is not love. We make choices, conscious choices of who we want to be with before we even meet the person, right? If you're interested in a person, right, you leave that lane open to take interest in that person. It's not love at first sight. It's not some Romeo and Juliet bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So he had his criterias. He had his ideology of the type of woman that he would want. But this is Mr. Pro-Black. But me, that's someone that's is a Black person that's not directly from here. He's more Black than me, even though I have two Black parents, grandparents, great grandparents on both sides, with a Black wife and Black children. But for some reason, he's more Black than me. It's FBA. You can't make it make sense. I don't know what to say. So yeah, I just pretty much wanted to show that, because that's what's blowing up on the internet right now. And I don't want this to die down. Umar went down, you know what I'm saying? For Tariq, it's been a long time coming. It's been a long time coming. Like, I don't know. He may still come out this like a shiny piece of shit because the things that people expose on him and how he exposed himself, he's still relevant. And that's just the sad part. So all right, so that's a little bit of iceberg. I got some other things that I would really love to show to as well, but let's get into the main event if we have some time. Yeah, there's some other things I would also like to share. So if times allows it, we'll definitely do that. But what I'm going to do right now, we're going to get into my I'm going to revisit this debate. So it's a revisit of this debate. And I just pretty much want to expand on some of the points that I really couldn't flush out when I did this. Again, shout out to the Be Fair show, to Unpack and Q over there. He did a good job, I feel, for the most part, hosting. But again, there's a couple things I feel that needs to be addressed that was glossed over. So let me get the timestamp here and I'll let it rock.
I really do. Yeah, we in LA. We in LA, and I hope some people in here are acting.
She don't think it's real.
hey, pause real quick. I just want to say what Amanda displayed on Sunday
and of their business, like they're counting on the labor.
I really do.
Yeah,
we in LA. We in LA, and I hope some people in here are acting.
She don't think it's real.
hey, pause real quick. I just want to say what Amanda displayed on Sunday.
To me, I don't know how important that is to anything, as long as there is privately owned prisons that benefit off of, uneducated. Keep that.
My fault. I was just checking something real quick. I'm going to let it play right now.
For like a Wednesday show in the Discord. I'm gonna let you land your point, but outside of this, let's try and like just talk to whatever they talking about.
Hey, pause real quick. I just want to say what Amanda displayed on Sunday is what I wish Kofi would display. You got someone who's half FBA and half from another country, but she laying it down.
Why are you making this about me? Like,
I'm just telling you.
You're very butthurt.
This is not a butt
Again, so this is a person called, he's not really an old man, but that's the name he goes by. I'll be just cooking him on the Be Fair show. And was just regular basic questions. And once I checkmate them, they change the subject. They play stupid because they're smart enough to know what I'm saying, and they're smart enough to put two and two together. So I just pretty much scholastically beat the shit out of them all the time. And I just live rent free in their head. So this is his first time coming onto this particular platform. Amanda Seals knocked the first guy out. And first thing he does is attack me. I ain't saying nothing about him. I didn't say nothing about him or anything like that. His first thing is to attack me. So you got to have these FBA goons on the ropes. And I love it. And I just love it.
It's not about you. I'm saying,
why are you mentioning my name? Why are you so?
Okay, let me explain.
We can save the I love you, but I really don't want to do the FBA versus.
I'm not doing the FBA, but
let's keep that for like a Wednesday show in the Discord. I'm gonna let you land your point, but outside of this, let's try and like just talk to whatever they talking about. Go ahead, old man.
Okay, so the mentality and the what she displayed on Sunday when this was aired live was something that I wish that all people who are half FBA and half from another country, or immigrant or a foreigner, would do that. So she's not picking one side or the other, but she's laying facts down and she's letting people know who's going against our lineage that they need to check themselves. So I appreciate what she did, and I just wish others would follow suit.
Gotcha.
And I apologize for saying Kofi's name because you're right. I should have just kept it generic.
Again, and like I said, and unlike speaking out of turn and not out of knowledge, I agree with everything that Amanda said. Everyone check the Discord. To Be Fair Discord. I put this in the Pan-African section. She said a statement that speaks to what Old Man said. And she goes in and she really, really, really represents Black Americans and check people from other places. And I never seen this happen on Jubilee. She took time out, like, nah, before we do anything, I'm going to acknowledge African Americans. I'm not going to get what she gets into, but you guys and quote unquote FBA would agree with it. And I agree with it.
Gotcha.
And I think because she is experienced and been in the entertainment.
So anyway, again, you see how these FBA Nasheedites only want to, they love playing the victim. Again, for those of you who may not know, I used to follow Tariq before he grifted and pivoted to FBA, right? And he just pretty much took what ADUS was doing and he's just is at a higher level. FBA is just ADUS on steroids. So all the anti-Blackness, all the anti-Africanness, all the white supremacist ideology, and all the xenophobic, racist things that they say about Africans and other people, Tariq Nasheed just did it better. That's all that it is. So this playing we the victims, when I've seen this played out to me in real life, where Tariq Nasheed for at least about 2 years was going in on Africans and Caribbeans and other people. And then when the clapback happens, they start crying and whining like little bitches, saying, why you said about us? See, you hate us. But when it was never that. And I'm saying that to say is that this is what he's doing right now. Now, there's Black Americans also on that panel that's doing that. But he's not going to acknowledge that because FBA aren't people that are accountable, right? FBA aren't people that aren't accountable for their fuck ups, right? Instead of saying like, hey, look, but you know what? We're going to get to that. But I just wanted to state that, like, you know, you got to have these people on the ropes and challenge they idiocy, you know what I'm saying? Because it's idiotic. And we already know that Tariq Nasheed changes the definition of what FBA is all the time. So it's very embarrassing. It was already embarrassing, but it's even more embarrassing now to say you're a FBA when Tariq Nasheed doesn't even know what the hell that is. Like, what is that? I don't know what that is. Is it going to stay the same? Is it going to change? He's the king. He's the one that judges. He's the one that sets the criteria of what an FBA is. That's not how ethnicity works. That's not how the lineage works. It doesn't work like that. That's how it's a cult.
Name in Harriet the Tubman. Lord's name. Harriet Tubman was literally saving her family and others from slavery.
Yeah. You know who helped her? White people.
You know who helped her?
They were on the Underground Railroad.
No.
So again, what he's saying right there is true, but he's saying in a disingenuous way. There were a little bit, a minority, an extreme minority of white people that helped Harriet Tubman on the Underground Railroad. There were Quakers, there were abolitionists that did that.
Who helped her?
Come on in.
You know who helped her?
God and
people who benefit from white supremacy. One of the things
it's a lie. What?
I think this is her first. What? The people who helped her benefit from white supremacy? Let's see where she goes with it. Because already that doesn't make any sense.
Supremacy is a lie.
No, sir. That's simply not true.
If
that were not the case, then we wouldn't see the continued effort of colonialism and white people placing themselves in positions of power when they do not have the power.
I say cap on
because their culture, Black culture, is top.
Yeah, and I call cap on that. That wasn't a good answer at all from my viewpoint with the history that I know. What those white people were putting their lives on the line. So the ones that were doing the Underground Railroad, if they were in the North, they're good. But once you don't pass that Mason-Dixon line and you're a white person, Quaker or not, and you're doing that, that's treasonous. You could go to jail, get fined, even killed for helping that because it's property. Black people back then were considered property. So it's no different than a white man going to another white man stealing his horse and buggy. They're not gonna just look it over. No, you stole my horse and buggy. Right? So how are those white people want to be in control of white supremacy, to be in charge? That doesn't make any sense. To me, that's the first L that she got. No one checked her on it. I mean, the Republicans was like, huh? What? That made no sense. And I do agree with the Republicans there, because this is a matter of facts. Because what she said to support that statement really doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. And I'm rooting for her, but in a way, I'm kind of glad that was glossed over, because that was a bad look.
Toxic. The Black culture is toxic. We have produced a culture that is.
So I'm going to move it. So again, this guy's American. He's saying all the disgusting things about Black people, of us being inherently backwards, evil, devious, unintelligent, all the good Republican nonsense, right? The FBA has no problem with, because she was voting for Trump, was blocking bullets for Trump and everything, and he was demonizing Kamala Harris. So, FBA, they have a lot of conservative political tendencies.
Toxic. And let's get on the fact that there's no fathers in the Black home. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that.
None of this is gonna work if y'all are just gonna sit here and make up shit. It's not gonna work. No, it's a debate. It has to be in facts.
He wants his viral moment, as you can see, because he's just throwing shit at the wall and see what's gonna stick.
Literally
emotional liberalism.
I am not putting off emotional liberalism. You're putting off unfounded lies based in conservatism.
Misinformation. Remember, they did the misinformation thing all summer, where everything conservative did. They said misinformation.
You're carrying a chain around your neck of an apartheid nation that actively wants to harm Black people and non-Jewish people. But let me bring it back. Let me bring it back.
That's true. So he had the what they call it, Star of David, whatever, the Jewish symbol, whatever you want to call it, and basically, she's checkmate him on that. You're supporting Zionists. Remember, Zionism and Jewish people are two different things. For those of you who may not know, so it's like saying, well, I ain't gonna say that because most of you are gonna lose it, but you are for the apartheid colonial project that's going on there in Gaza, in Palestine right now, and there's Black people there too, yeah, but on a human level and a pro-Black level, is very sad and very sickening. But again, they're Republicans, FBA, they're just despicable. They do anything for a viral moment, anything to make money.
Black people in Africa,
that was not happening in the context that you're saying.
And they were selling their own people. Black people still sell their own people today too.
I don't know if I'm gonna last.
We're selling our own people.
I don't know if I'm gonna last.
You probably won't last with me.
I won't, because your ignorance is so overwhelming.
That's liberals. Y'all start name calling when y'all get defeated in the argument.
And you hear where he said Black people are selling each other. Up to this day, Black people are selling each other with no context. So that's very important. They just throw stuff out there. No one on the panel has a problem with that or whatever, but that is very problematic, right? But I'm going to keep on playing. You're going to see why that's problematic.
You won't have an argument because you keep cutting me off.
Well, that's fine. If they don't let me go back, I made my point.
You didn't make your point.
I made my point.
You haven't made your point. And let me just tell you about your point. You started off saying, we believe in hard work.
Yeah.
And we believe in being compensated.
Reparations is not, though. Reparations is not hard work. It's stealing. It's Robin Hood.
You said you believe in hard work.
Yes.
And you believe in being compensated for hard work.
Yes.
Were slaves compensated for their work?
They weren't compensated for their work. But why should people who are sitting at home playing video games, smoking marijuana?
Are you sitting at home playing a video game? Are you sitting at home playing a video game?
People that they wanted.
Am I sitting at home playing a video game? No. And I don't know who these people are that you're talking about, because the majority of the Black community is not sitting at home playing video games.
The majority of the Black
community. Where are you getting that statistic? Where are you getting that statistic?
Pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
I knew I was going to be surrounded by ignorance.
Yeah, it was basically a very ignorant statement. All the things that he was saying, just your regular average, black racist stereotypes about black people, and she's doing a good job. But FBA is still not going to give her the grace, because she is not 100% FBA. Well, who knows? Tariq may change his mind. We don't know. What an FBA is at this point, but she did a good job, and they're not really giving her kudos. They're not really giving her benefits of all the things that she's doing from what I'm seeing in my view. So let me bring it back a little here.
Point of view that says there should be less government, but even though it just says that, the action is very different. The radical mind state simply is living opposite to our colonizers, which is an imperialist, capitalist mind state, and radical Blacks do not believe that is any way for us to have liberation.
Thank you for explaining that.
And thank you for being very respectful.
We were told to be respectful.
Can you pause it real quick?
Yeah.
No, I kind of like her breakdown, and my sons were looking at this because they were looking at the sound bites and they're like, it was crazy, and they were like, well, Dad, what does she mean that she's a black radical? And I like her breakdown of it. So they know who Bernie Sanders is. So Amanda Seals is right of Bernie Sanders, because even though I agree with a lot of policies, I meant to say left of Bernie Sanders, not right, but basically that's what it is. And I wanted to highlight this part where I was talking about. So if anything to happen, when you see all the policies, everything that has been pushed, right, by Black people, right, or anything positive as a whole being pushed in this country from since the civil rights era to now, are people on the left. Everything's being pushed in our benefit. You may not like how fast it's going or whatever, or you know what, that's a small measure, whatever, but it's only happening on the left for the most part. So in order for anything in my political view, looking at it, at things historically, things you have to move left, not extreme left as like in women are men and men can be women are men and yada yada yada. Not there. As far as Bernie Sanders is concerned, because Bernie Sanders is a socialist, and they consider, like, even though his policies were good and sound economically, I'm left of that because he wasn't for reparations, right? So Amanda Seals being a radical is like, hey, look, we got to tear the whole system down. It's anything that goes against our colonial oppressors of how they had that. So we need to tear down the system and rebuild the system, look at the system again where it can be beneficial to us. That's not happening on the right. That's not happening in any third parties that white people created. We need our own party, So I think that was very important when we think of politics. How does it benefit us as a whole? So her being a Black radical makes perfect sense to me. Let me find the timestamp for the other one. Let's do it.
The cliche claims, where this is like fairly nuanced. Okay, this is a good.
Dr. Jordan Peterson and even Thomas Sowell and several others have stated one thing, that poverty and crime, there's a positive correlation. There's also a positive correlation in the Black community of absentee.
Use Thomas Sowell. If you know who Thomas Sowell is, he's a conservative economist. That's basically a coon. Basically, that's, again, with the whole, Black people are just inherently criminal and yada, 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 yada.
Fatherism being one of the root causes leading into criminality. Black males that grew up without a father are 10 times more likely to engage in criminal activity. And so I think
Can I put a pin right there and ask you a question?
Ask me whatever you like.
What is the root cause of there being less fathers present?
Bad decision making on the part of the fathers.
Let me read this really quickly. Fact check. Research clearly shows that there is a correlation between absent fathers and a higher likelihood to engage in criminal activity. Researchers have reached different conclusions on the exact percentage. Data from the Florida Atlantic University found children in general with an incarcerated father are 5 to 6 times more likely to become offenders.
Criminal activity. And so I think one of the...
Can I put a pin right there and ask you a question?
Ask me whatever you like.
Now, again, this is where people get mad at me. This is where people get mad at me. Trigger warning. So I wasn't even going to mention this here, but I'm going to keep driving this home for 2 reasons. To exonerate Black immigrants, right, that are here, right, whether if they're green card holders, have a work visa, or naturalized citizens, and for the rest of immigrants as a whole, whether it be Black, white, Hispanic, or whatever, right? So they're talking about these criminal stats, and these criminal stats are the stats about absentee faults, and it has to do, to me, with the system, the school to prison pipeline, and a lot of roadblocks that the government herself has put in place in order for that to happen. Ronald Reagan putting crack in Black neighborhoods, having laws that punishes Black people for minuscule crimes while they're letting their white counterpart get away with bigger crimes. So all those facts. So I'm saying that to say before I say this. Black immigrants as a whole commit way less crime than Black born immigrant Americans. I'm just saying Black because we're talking about Black people now, but immigrants as a whole, right? Black immigrants are way less likely to commit crimes than Black American born. That's all I'm saying. So when FBA or other people would like to demonize us that we're criminal, or these Black Republicans or these right Republicans like to demonize Black people as, oh, they're the reason for crime, the statistics shows that that's just not true.
What is the root cause of there being less fathers present?
Bad decision making on the part of the fathers. We live in a patriarchal system, like it or not. Men have dominated the socioeconomic, economic, and political power of this country and the world since our existence. So our bad decision making, especially when we focus on the Black community, is the root cause of fatherlessness.
What type of decision
making and political power? We live in a patriarchal system. Like it or not, men have dominated the socioeconomic, economic, and political power of this country and the world since our existence. So our bad decision making, especially when we focus on the Black community, is the root cause of fatherlessness.
What type of decisions?
Not marrying the women we decide to lay down and have children with. Not being careful with the seeds that we plant in women. No woman can get pregnant without a man planting his seed inside of her. So
he makes women sound like a vessel. It's a union. He's making it seem like, oh, you just plant a seed in it. He make women sound like a goddamn flower pot. Well, I put my tomato seeds in the pot, and I made this decision. I put it in there. That's it. It grows. So it's my fault. Like, women have no bodily autonomy or anything like that. I found that to be very chauvinistic, callous, insensitive, and sexist.
So it's marriage.
Well, that's a part of it. That's marriage is a part of it.
Okay.
But the true piece that I'm looking at is connectedness between familial units. The Black community was at its economically strongest while being at its poorest during the segregation era. Prior to 1968, Dr. Martin Luther King in his last speech said that...
Pause.
And I would say that so far, he's laid a really solid groundwork for a claim, in my opinion. Which, like, I'm interested to hear how she rebuttals. But yeah, I like where outside of what he first started off with, like, since he's came back, I've enjoyed what he said so far. What's going on, Kofi?
Nah, what he just said is bullshit. It's a goddamn Byron Donalds bullshit again. That, well, even though during Jim Crow, Black fathers were in the house. So it's like, it's that bullshit correlation you're trying to do. Yeah, it was bad, but hey, at least the fathers were in the house. Like, no. It's a dog whistle of saying, well, segregation in Jim Crow was really actually beneficial for Black people, even though it was horrific. It's the same thing like Black people learned skills during slavery.
I don't think that's what Byron Donald was saying.
And it's like what I said before is like when Ted Cruz saying, oh, well, no, slavery taught Black people skills. That's what? Number one, some of those skills black people already had coming over here, right? So certain crops, white people knew that certain crops that were grown in Africa that black people know how to harvest those crops, right? And some things they were forced to learn. So saying that this is the benefit, why even make that fucking correlation is what I'm saying. Q sees it differently, but if you guys have seen the running theme here, and I mentioned this later on, it's only about black accountability and ignoring white supremacy, systematic white supremacy that is still prevalent to this day. So he's not being earnest in no, I'm just saying, just look at it was before. I'm not trying to say that it's better, but he's given them way more leeway than I would. But I'll let you hear his piece.
He was saying right there.
Well, he's making that core. He just said that. He just said that. You can put it back like 10 seconds. He was saying even Black America at its poorest during the 60s, which was around the time of Jim Crow. There were fathers in that.
I think his point is speaking to the fact that there is some accountability for us as black fathers in our absentee within the family structure. And so if it's only
so again, my question, it's our fault, but why are we're absent from there during the 80s and the 70s? What happened from the 50s to 60s to the 70s? Are we blaming civil rights here? What are we blaming? That's the part that I disagree with. Like there's missing information there that you're not filling, but you're saying again, hey, is the black father's fault?
Based on the idea of income, then when we was at our poorest, we would not have had two-parent families. In comparison to where, like, again, when you fast forward, I guess like 30, 40 years, once you get the implementation of like a bunch of the government programs and the man has left the house and higher incarceration, XYZ, and black family is poor, the only variable can't be poor if also in the history of America, when black people were at its poorest, it was a bunch of two-family households and familiar units. That was kind of the point that he was making, and he was saying that there is also some accountability. Well, he's probably not going to use the word some.
So I'm going to stop it right there. That's the point that Q is making. That makes sense, but he is not saying that. Q is implementing all that information and trying to say, well, this is what he meant by it, but he's not coming from a genuine place. And the argument he's laying down is bullshit. If I say, well, water in its gaseous state is really a liquid, you go like, okay, let's get the facts here. Water has 3 stages, you know what I'm saying? Solid, gas, and liquid. But you're saying this is gaseous stage is still liquid. That's just factually wrong. So I don't know what type of giving validity to a bad faith argument that has no facts in it whatsoever.
And probably use all, but there's accountability also for not making, or pretty much like family decision making, which kind of goes to like a bit of what we talked about.
Turn to your seat.
So I'm gonna move forward.
It's a waste of my time. Y'all just want to be seen.
Yep.
I don't need to be seen.
Yep. This is going to be interesting. This one's going to be interesting.
Say less outfit. Okay.
Thank you.
So this is my thing. I think the premise of your question was black on black crime. So I think I'm coming from a place, and I guess my issue is,
just to preface it, she's from Nigeria. I'm not sure if both her parents from Nigeria or one of her parents from Nigeria, but she lives in Chicago.
Is having had my biological father murdered by a black man.
Shout out to Smelly. All cops are bad. That's what ACAB means. I don't agree with that, but we can keep tracking.
Yeah, I don't agree with that either. That all cops are bad. I just think that the good cops fall short of checking the bad cops.
Having had my cousin shot in the head by a black man. We can talk numbers and statistics and what the people are doing and what the white man is doing and all that. But at the end of the day, I see when my family lives on the south side of Chicago, and I think you and I both can attest to this, and I'm not saying that there are not other factors, but we know that we kill each other at a disproportionate rate than any other race. Now, why we do that and why 6,000 to 9,000 black men are going to be homicided or killed or whatever by the end of the year annually by other black men, whereas the likelihood of a black man being killed by a white police officer is less than 150 per year. We know that.
So I'm going to read the fact check here. It says police have killed on average 238 black men per year since 2017, about 58% more than 150 per year. So police kill black men at a higher rate than average.
We kill each other at a higher rate. So I'm not debating that there are not factors at play, but because I've lived the experience as a black woman losing my father to be murdered by a black man, walking down the street,
by the way.
No worries, thank you. But walking down the street in inner cities and different things, knowing that it's more likely that my own brother will rob and rape me than a white man or a white officer, we got to be real.
What's your proximity to white men in the south side of Chicago? Are there even white men around to rob and rape you at the same rate that there are?
She sounds like she's addressing it the proper way it needs to be. Because it's literally the proximity thing.
Black men?
There are white men around
at the same rate.
There wasn't a lot of black people in there, but then that doesn't justify the fact that we're destroying each other. So even if we get nothing,
she ran away from it. She just said, are there the same amount of black people and white men around you as far as your proximity? Well, no, but it doesn't mean we're supposed to kill each other. I didn't say that. I didn't ask you that. I want to know the ratio of black men versus white men that you are around. And Q was is right. It has to do with proximity. It doesn't have to do with the mentality. But again, these are black MAGA coon talking points.
We can agree on that.
Okay, because I feel like a lot of
nothing
times
justifies.
Like, well,
I'm not a liberal. I'm not a liberal.
Okay, well, I will say that people that sometimes have your stance that are against conservatives, maybe they have this claim that they're making it up. They're making up the numbers. We know that we do that to each other. So I want to get to the root of the issue. Why are we killing each other? I think the root of the issue is we've lost our values and we've lost our resilience as black people. We sit there and we talk about what the white man did and we talk about slavery.
See, again, and this is what I'm saying. The running theme is leave the white man alone. It's our fault. And because we lost values or lack values or can't find our values and not pulling ourselves by our bootstraps and we're just inherently backwards, we just blaming the white people. It's our fault. These are the running theme with these people.
And everything like that, but we have no self-accountability and say, you know what, at the end of the day, that is my black grandmother, that is my black sister, you are my black sister, and you know that a black man is more likely to rob you or commit some type of crime against you, and that's what we need to get down to the issue of. And like you were talking about earlier, like, hey, well, what's going on? You know, what do you think the answer is to one of the brothers that were speaking? I think it's the breakdown of the family. I think, like he said, because of our poor choices, and what happens is we look at domestic violence, for example. When domestic violence, women or men are even attacked, what is the first thing we say? It's like, you know what, it's not your what? It's not your fault. So that's what we do. We hold on to this narrative that, well, it's not our fault. And the issues in our community are not our fault. And the white man.
Wait. So white supremacy is our fault. Is that what she's saying? Let me let her talk a little bit more because she's trying to say white supremacy is the fault of black people.
Needs to give us something. The old white lady down the street is looking at me and I don't know why she got braids in her hair, and we focus on all these other stupid things that don't matter. We don't get to the root of the fact that we're killing each other at a higher rate than any other race. It is self-hatred amongst us. I believe that we can do that.
Yeah, so she's blaming black people for systematic racism, which is crazy, which is insane, right? So she didn't say, well, I'm not sure if I'm going to show that part, but in case I don't show that part or whatever, she is Nigerian and she has the same ideology of all the other coons. And the reason why I'm doing this is to show you that it has nothing, absolutely nothing from where you're from when you're in this country. Because as you see here, and you're going to see even more, you got black Americans here that sound just as insane as she does. So the FBA lied that, oh, you're just going to be on code by default because you go back to the killing fields of North and South Carolina and Georgia. That's bullshit. That's absolutely bullshit. Because if that's the case, you wouldn't have a Tim Scott, you wouldn't have a Jesse Lee Peterson, you wouldn't have a Ben Carson, you wouldn't have a Thomas Sowell and a litany of the Hodge twins. You wouldn't have a whole bunch of people. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't have your Phil Scotts, you wouldn't have your Tariq Nasheeds, you wouldn't have any of these type of people that's saying that just says dumb shit that make black people look bad.
That my cousin, my mom's cousin, coming from the church parking lot, and guess who stuck her up and robbed her at gunpoint? A black man.
I need you to get to the point.
Like,
so
my
I can
point
respond.
is that no, and I'm not trying to be funny, unless like you said, we're gonna keep it respectful.
Yeah, but you're monopolizing the whole conversation.
I'm not. Okay, I'm gonna let you speak, but let's not get the attitude and stuff. Because you're my sister, and I respect you. So
I don't have an attitude. I'm being direct to you, but you're literally speaking this, and you're not going to do that with me either. So you're stating your point.
Proclaim so much about.
So moving on.
Black Lives Matter, but when it comes down to a white person killing a black person, it's a big deal. It just don't make no sense to me.
Do you know what the statement Black Lives Matter is?
Now, he's from Louisiana, in case you doesn't know. Again, like Tariq Nasheed, he always changes what black is and what FBA is. There was one time he said that the people from Louisiana aren't really FBA because during the whole thing with 1804 and the Haitian Revolution, you had a couple people from Haiti, right, and along with the Louisiana Purchase, that when France sold that part because they lost Haiti, because Haiti was a big, huge cash cow for them. You had a lot of Haitians and other people that was going there, and you had some French aristocrats that was there also. They're not really FBA. This is what Tariq Nasheed said, and I remember that. It was so crazy. I was like dying and like upset at the same time. Like he'll cannibalize and get rid of his own people if it feels that is there any semblance or form of Africanity anyway, even though despite that Haitians are the only people that actually fought along with other Caribbean nations that actually fought, but they were the first to fight and win their freedom, so it's just sad. But I just want to give you a background of this dude right here and where he's from.
Actually stating?
Yeah, well, it started off from George Floyd.
Oh, my bad. We'll walk this in a second, but I did tell, what is it, Oogly Doog? He has this statement. I'll throw this to the panel. What time is it? We'll try to spend under 5 minutes on this. Matter of fact, we did 5 minute.
I mean, if you want me to, I can tell you the real good ones.
I'm gonna read it and then you hop in, and then whoever else wants to hop in. Says there are plenty of black success stories. We had a black president that white people elected. That white people elected. None of you can define one way.
I am going to put the link in the chat in case anyone wants to, sit in on me with this or comment or whatever. It would be, it's in the chat right now. If you want to come up, feel free to. I'll continue to play.
Black people have it harder systemically. Fellas.
Is this a troll question? Or did he just get here?
I don't even want to respond to this foolishness. It's just like I don't even know if he's in America, if he's
he's commented multiple times on here. So like he didn't just hop in the troll. Well, I don't know if he just hopped in the troll or not. But again, I throw it to y'all if y'all want.
I'll answer it. Redlining and okay, what she addressed? She addressed the redlining, which was systematically done. Right, that lowered on black people's property value. When you get loans from the bank, our loans are at a much higher rate, right? So basically, I just want to just address that to show you that, not that it matters because FBA on principle people. I'm very well aware, even before Amanda Seals was pretty much stating the disparities that Black Americans have. And by default, Black immigrants also suffer that. But it's up to us as Black immigrants to understand the history as of to why, to understand the experience. Because now you're part of the experience. And you denying an experience that's been here longer than you're doing yourself and other Black people a disservice. So that's pretty much what it was, I was saying right there. Am I supposed to? Hold on one second. I think this prompt is pretty much done. I'm gonna move forward to the other timestamp. This is where it's gonna get a little juicy. Give me a little time, please forgive me. I want to make sure I get the right spot. All right, let's play it from right here.
Where we came from, how can we know where we're going?
Sure, okay.
All right, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay.
That's flags.
Yeah.
Okay. Another dub.
Hi again. We cool now?
What's up? What's up, Chuck? What's up?
Hey, salute. Thanks for having me up on the panel.
No problem, bro.
I missed this episode. I didn't really hear any of these talking points, but I'm just hearing it for the first time. But yeah, it's very interesting. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm skipping through a lot of it. The only points that I'm bringing up are the points that I really couldn't hash out on because they got very FBA-ish and whatever, and Q kind of didn't want that, and I totally understand that. But I'm going to address those issues here. But yeah, you should really take a look at it and see all of it because it was really interesting. And to me, the point that I'm just trying to prove here is that it has to do with ideology. Like you have people from all walks of life in different places with the same ideology. So it undermines the whole FBA nonsense. So I'm gonna keep it playing. But anytime you want me to stop, just let me know.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
We good. I think
Oh Lord. So
It don't last long. Don't worry.
I got something to say about them. Go ahead. Go ahead. Let her talk.
We're kind of looking at the same side of the same coin. And I think we both want the betterment of the Black community. And I think we're maybe coming from it from different ways. And so I do respect your position to what you were saying as well, that there are certain things and powers that play. And I've experienced racism firsthand. A lot of conservatives try to act like, oh, there's no racism in America. I absolutely believe there is racism in America. I believe racist people exist. I just don't think that the systems as they stand today are inherently racist because I've seen too many Black people overcome. And I just feel like a lot of times what's left out of the dialogue is self-accountability and like self-will. We talked about how we were 3/5 of a person, but now we are 100%, I guess, according to the law or whatever, a person. And I feel like at the end of the day, if you wanted to walk out here right now and decide, you know what, I want to change my career, I want to do that, you can. And that's why so many people and Nigerians come here and Indians come here and so many people who are not white, who are supposed to be discriminated against because they're not white, they come here and they become doctors and lawyers. Why? Because to your point, there's community. There's a sense of pride about, you know what, I got to go honor my parents back in Nigeria. I am part Nigerian. I have to go honor my parents. I have to go honor my elders. They're not twerking and shaking booty. They're getting sick.
Oh, God.
The Nigerians I know.
And that was you heard that was disrespectful. I ain't even gonna lie. That shit was fucking disrespectful. Saying all Black people out here, women out here, shaking like, come on now, that's crazy. Like, why was that was disrespectful? But,
Well, one thing I will say though, the conservative viewpoint is more prevalent throughout the world. I think you'll find that most Nigerians, most Africans in general, are going to lean more conservative. So, this is not surprising to hear people have these views. I don't think a lot of Black Americans really understand that being liberal is rare. I think it's something that is a recent thing. So yeah, I just think that you mentioned worldviews or ideologies, but I think that worldwide the conservative ideology has much more adherence than the liberal ideology.
I agree with that, and I also disagree with that. Only reason why I disagree with that because not everybody is one thing politically or socially all the time.
Of course.
So in a matter what she's speaking right now, as far as like shaking, yeah, I'm not. I can't. How I grew up, I can't be doing shit like that. And I'm pretty sure there's Black Americans that would see like a Sexy Red and a Cardi B and a Megan Thee Stallion and be like, You see what I'm saying? So that is a very conservative ideology. But what they're doing is more of a women's lib type of thing. So if you were to say, "Oh, you shouldn't do that," you should be ashamed of what you're doing. The people going to shame you would be like the feminists and all those people. But I understand it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to tell you specifically as a woman or all women not to do it, right? Because I'm not living your life. But me, I have conservative values when it comes to that anything in particular. Now, me as a person from the Caribbean, that shit goes out the window when it's carnival time. You know what I'm saying? That shit goes out the window when it's carnival time. But we're not doing that at a 5-star restaurant, twerking on the fucking table. It's like, what the hell are you fucking like? Nah, we're not doing that. Not saying that all Black Americans do that, but there's a time and place to do it. You don't do shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So, but when it comes to a liberal view, us being here, if you're in Nigeria or any Afro-Caribbean country or nation, you could be conservative as much as you want. You know why? Because we running shit. You know what I'm saying? But when you're here in America, you can't, for you to be like a total conservative is insane, because the law is not stacked in your favor, right?
Unless when I say
yeah,
sorry, but when I say conservative, I don't mean MAGA.
I'll let it play. I'm saying, and I said this before, if you're not a straight Christian white man, you don't want to be liberal because everything is good in your favor. If you're not those things, then yeah, you're gonna be that's what they're trying to conserve: straight white Christian males. If you're not any of those things, you're gonna be liberal. So most people are going to be liberal. But yeah, go ahead.
Right, but okay, so most conservatism is rooted in religious conservatism. That is to say, you don't like abortion, you don't like LGBTQ, trans people teaching your children about sex, things like that. You don't want, you believe in God. You believe in tradition. You believe in gender roles. You believe that, we have a role to play, and you believe in honoring your parents, and you live a life in a way that connects you to your family, and you trust your family more than you trust the government. Right. Okay. So one thing you'll notice with a lot of Nigerians, I can only speak for Nigerians, they don't trust the government. The Nigerian government is very corrupt, and in an environment like that, you have to have more trust with your extended family than the government, who is not looking out for your interests. Do you understand? So the family becomes a much more important mechanism to survive in a condition where the government is out to harm you. But what I see in liberals have this faith that the government is the answer, that government is going to help you, to save you. Government is going to, I believe in systemic racism, but this is why I don't believe that the systemic racist government is going to do anything to benefit Black people. I think if our only way forward is to chart a course that does not involve depending on the government or the white man, we got to figure out how to do this without any input from them, because if that's the case, then they're just going to interfere and use government dependency as a way to throw everything off. You see what I'm saying? So I don't trust.
I agree. No, I agree. The only thing I would say, I'll make 2 points. The only 2 points I would make is that a lot of things. So you're talking about religious Christian conservatism, not this being a country that's not a theocracy or whatever. Yeah, you're free to believe whatever you want or not believe whatever you don't want to believe. But a lot of those quote unquote Christian values, a lot of people, such as myself, that's not a Christian or not a part of any Abrahamic religion, have a lot of those similar values. One. Two, when it comes to like having a liberal position within government. So, we can't have taxation without representation. So from a government system, speaking of course, yeah, you have to rely on family in order to do things. I don't think liberalism is depending on the government, because we could say a lot of capitalist conservatives rely on the government when it comes to certain subsidies, certain grants, PPP loans, and all these things, aka corporate welfare. They love the government. That's where they want big government. So they want, I think Amanda Seale said it too when she was breaking down her ideology. She even said, hey, don't call me a liberal. You know what I'm saying? She's a black radical, pretty much tearing down the whole system because the whole system is not beneficial towards black people. So I do agree with her there. But within the confines of government and having government work for you because the government is supposed to be serving you, to me, I'm kind of person that want to burn the candle on both ends. Yes, depend on yourself, do what you can for yourself, and use your family in order to you to have a support system. But at the same time, the government is supposed to adhere to your needs that you have, especially for Black Americans and Black people as a whole, who they have always fallen short to do those things for them. So I feel you could do both at the same time. You see what I'm saying? But I understand where you're coming from. But yeah, Nigerians.
My only fear is that if you're relying on the government to take any role in your upliftment, then you are pretty much at the sideline. You're on the sidelines. You have to, petition the government for whatever special programs that are needed for you to uplift yourself. So I just don't. I think it's a losing strategy. I don't think it's worked over the past 60 years, and I see that the politicians will use this as a way to.
Are you so you talking about social safety nets, or are you talking about just a handout? Because those two things would be different.
Okay, so for instance, this is one thing that white liberals are very good at. They will throw us a bone like DEI, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in exchange for them reducing us to our race so they can take credit for uplifting us. But at the same time, Black people will be the face of DEI, but through the back door, the main beneficiaries will be white women and other people. So
agreed.
Liberal politicians are very good at this type of virtue signaling. If you say, okay, the government has a role to play in balancing the scales and social justice and ideas like this, there will be a politician who will come along and say, yes, I agree, and if you vote for me, I will do that. But when their plan is actually implemented, not only will Black people not be the primary beneficiaries, the Black people will be the ones who are demonized for government dependency when they're not even the ones who are benefiting the most. Do you see what I'm saying?
And you're 100% right. Now, this is the cross section and the intersectionality when it comes to me, how I feel where a lot of Black people involved in politics drop the ball. I'm not, because then we can talk about this later, but I really want to get through this. But I agree with everything you said 100%. I think where the ball is being dropped, we see the game, we see the okie doke. Not saying you, but instead of us saying, hey, look, you fucking bastards, you fucking lied, you used me as a political prop, you're supposed to be the one that's champion for Black people, you're on Black people's side, and the shit that you implemented did not benefit me. It invented Becky over there. What the fuck? That's where we lose the fight. You know what I'm saying? And I don't see a lot of Black people or the right amount of right Black people galvanizing to push that. You know what I'm saying? We go, you know what? I'll sit on the couch. You know what? I'm going to vote Republican. It's fucking retarded. If I promised you something as a politician and I voted for you and you didn't do that, I should drag your name through the fucking mud. Right? So they can be like, oh, wow, you can't, you know what I'm saying, just promise Black people shit. They will freaking embarrass you, but we don't do that. We go, man, that's messed up. Maybe that one will do what we want to do. Like, we don't get mad, we don't get outraged or anything like that. We don't hold them accountable or anything like that. We get some white person or some Black person that downplays the bullshit. And to me, that is the problem. Like I said before, the only way certain things are going to move judicially, government-wise, that help Black people is going to be on the left. But the people on the left are so fucking weak. That's why I admire the right. The right is vicious. You know what I'm saying? If the left will get any kind of fucking spine, right, and really fight for what they want, we would be in a better place. And it's better because, again, like you said, they say they're gonna do all these things for us, and then when they do implement, like you said, like DEI, like we're not benefiting from it. So somebody's like, well, fuck DEI. They're like, no, that's no. If you need that and it's helped you, but it hasn't helped you as much, hold them accountable and tell them like what you're doing is bullshit. You need to do another revision of DEI that really helped us. That's what I would say. But let me keep it plain. Yeah, but I do agree with her. I can't, if I was going to a restaurant, even my wife tells me like, oh my gosh, you guys are so bougie. When we go out, you have to act a certain way. You gotta know what your salad fork is, your dessert fork is. You have to know where everything is because it's about class. But I do agree. So I'm my family's very conservative in that regard.
They are literally from Africa. They're doctors twerking and shaking. They literally have because they got the money to back it up. But do you see what I'm saying? Though we have to be honest, Amanda.
As a fellow daughter of an immigrant, right? So my mother's from Grenada. My mother did come here and was able to work and was able to get green cards for folks. So shout out to my mom. There's a very big difference in growing up somewhere and coming from a place where you are the majority and where your people are running the show than being somewhere where your people have been subjugated the entire time your people have been.
But your mama came here and she wasn't the majority. So how did she succeed?
She succeeded because she came here with the fortitude of coming from a place.
Her resilience, right?
No, but let me say what I'm saying. If we don't acknowledge divide and conquer in the United States, we are having a pointless conversation.
I agree.
We have to acknowledge that there is a concerted effort at divide and conquer in the United States. We're literally watching it happen right now with an effort to divide and conquer and have black people fighting immigrants and have black people saying that immigrants don't matter.
So fighting white people.
White people.
So I just wanted to pause there. So this is probably where people started saying, "Oh, she said FBA." We even have some coons in Discord saying, "Oh, she said FBA." No, she didn't say FBA. She's just acknowledging that there is online only. Well, she didn't say online only, but we all know it's online only where there's this division. And this is the thing about this is why I call FBA pretty much COINTELPRO. And they call them agents because you're doing a whole divide and conquer tactic, and I don't know if that whoever that girl that Amanda Seals talking, I don't think she's aware of that. So once you mention this to them and saying like, hey, well, you know what, Kofi, you know what, Chuck, yeah, you're absolutely right. You guys seem to be for Black Americans, this, that, and the other. Okay, let's have a coalition together because we're strong together and we are apart. That's not what FBA, ADOS, Freeman, Black Indians, that's what they're about. Their whole thing is to just chastise those people and to just use xenophobic, racist 1980s rhetoric towards Africans. And that is the problem that we're having here. But so far, the panel over there has, they're not saying anything about it, have no problem with it, but whatever. I just wanted to mention that.
Stop, pause. You gotta pause it there. You gotta pause it.
I think we got like 10 seconds left on the.
We are becoming the new white supremacists.
We are.
We feel like we can't do anything.
No, it's not that we're putting them on a pedestal.
It seems like they just gonna let them keep going. All right.
I want it because this is how this panel is. I'm not gonna mention the person. They came in making the accusations, right? And this is what we have to acknowledge and capitalize this moment. It's gonna be a better moment than what Amanda Seals is just doing right now, like how she's checking certain immigrants or people that was born here. That's first generation or second generation. Again, before, because you was talking about the diaspora wars, right? Which is a white supremacist COINTELPRO ideology. Before this happened, all Black people, because we're all Black people, it was your mentality and how you saw yourself once you're in this country, how you saw yourself as a Black person in this country, no matter who you are or where you come from. It doesn't matter where you come from, because there's a long list of so-called FBAs that are fucking coons. So being here doesn't automatically make you on code. And we all know that. But what Amanda Seals is also saying is like, you as an immigrant that's coming here, it's up to you to understand these things. So all I'm saying is that if you have Black so-called FBA, so-called ADOS, so-called people that's been here and they don't fucking get it, you have people that have to learn the truth about it, because there's a lot of propaganda and a lot of lies out there. So that same grace you would give your own fellow Black person, you have to give that grace to an immigrant that may not know. He may get with a whole bunch of FBA Republicans, so he's gonna say these things. It has nothing to.
So Chuck, do you? I found that to be, because they don't do that. Like
and FBA is not very transparent, and that's why I wanted to mention that, because it's like you're not gonna say like, oh man, it's Tim Scott, man, whatever, you're cool. They don't chastise him. They don't go like, where Tim Scott from? Where he from? South Carolina? Oh, you know the people from South Carolina, and they go in on people from South Carolina. You know what I'm saying? They don't do that to Jesse Lee Peterson. So they give him grace. Now, they don't give them the same, they don't give black immigrants the same grace. They don't know anything. But if they don't know anything, okay, you need to teach them. You need to let them know. They don't know. Okay, let me give them some grace, because we got our own people. Our own people don't even know anything. So I found that to be interesting, and I don't really find FBA giving people that same grace. That's why I'm saying they're a very disingenuous, hateful group of people, because they don't extend that to other black people that also don't know American history.
In the back, I don't. Oh, can you hear me?
My bad.
No,
Yeah.
no worries. So FBA is not. FBA is a fake online identity. It's like a social group online. They're not doing anything in the political sphere. They're only exist on social media. So it's just this FBA rhetoric. It's not anything other than generating revenue for a few content creators. It's not going to change the political landscape. It's not going to win reparations. I don't know. It's not doing anything offline. So it's really negligible. So what FBAs talk about is really just, whatever they cook up in the echo chambers that they exist in, but they're not really a force that is meaningful. I don't think FBA exists. I think it's just an online phenomenon that doesn't do anything offline. So I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know if that answers the question.
They well, I mean, you did bring up something that's very good, but it's basically, I was saying basically they don't give black immigrants the same grace that they give their own so-called fellow black Americans that don't know any history. And this right here displays that. Besides this young lady right here, there was a bunch of other what they will call FBAs that was saying the same anti-black nonsense, and there's going to be more saying the same anti-black nonsense. But speaking towards your view of it being something that is not real, I do agree with that. It's not real in the sense as far as like having any type of political power. They don't have any type of politicians or anybody like that of note that is pushing that. But I will say that it is real. That mentality has been here since slavery.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, being in slavery, that mentality is gonna rise. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have someone that's thinking like that. They were always here. I don't know if you ever saw that video. It was a video during one of the mass I'm gonna be respectful because they're my people. I'm not gonna say flee. The mass migration of Black Americans leaving. There's a video of when you had a couple Black Americans that went out to California, right? And then they had their cousins, their own kin went out there calling them the same thing they will call us, Chuck. Oh, you're fleeing. You're backwards. You're unintelligent. You're this, you're that. All these crazy things, and the shit got me tight because I'm like, these are your own people. But then I understood what this country creates. I mean, this country is a nigger factory. Its job is to create niggas, not black men and women. You know what I'm saying? Not to create African women, men and women. You know,
right?
And
but I think this country also, Black people are not a monolith. This idea that all Black people should adopt one political stance or one political view, I don't think it lines up with reality. I think there will be Black people.
I'm not talking about politics. I'm just talking about how they see each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You see, because if you see that video, these are men. And one thing they did say that was right. They said, "Hey, look, we came out here to California because we got to deal with us being doctors, dentists, lawyers. We escaped." I'm paraphrasing here, but he said we escaped the profession of being a Negro, and now you have 4,000 Negroes a month coming in. He made it sound like an infestation. So I'm just saying this to say that they don't give us the same grace, but I understand that this mindset has always been around. So they're not gonna start having any kind of self-accountability and be like, oh shit, we did that to our own people and we're doing it to other black people. Oh, you know what? Let me get my shit together. Let me stop. No, they're not. They don't care.
But I think at the root of all this is tribalism. I think that nationalism, classism, nepotism, even racism are all different expressions of tribalism. So
True.
when you have, you know, well-to-do upper middle class people encountering lower class people who may have certain dysfunctions, I think the tribalism of class will kick in and say, okay, do we really need a bunch of people who are, you know, not going to be, who are of the lower classes? You can see, I see that classism does exist.
It does.
Most people don't want to acknowledge it, but there is classism. It is a thing. But also with FBA, I think they are like House Negro supremacists who are aligned with white nationalists, and so they are aligned with the nationalism aspect of
Exactly.
tribalism. So it's tribalism depending on how you cut what aspect you're looking at. Are you looking at class? Are you looking at the nation of origin, or what, you know, or are you, if you're Pan-African, you can't make all those distinctions. You have to kind of look at everybody as being part of the whole. But that's going to be the biggest thing: tribalism versus like movements to bring people together.
Yeah, no, and I totally agree with you. It's not to pat ourselves on our back, but I mean, and I fail on extending that too. But I think they know when you see everyone as black people as your brother, and you try to have that olive branch, and they keep slapping that olive branch out of your hand. Look, I'm also of the mind when Marcus Garvey says, I wish all black people not to go to Africa because the ones that are no good here will also be no good there. So Pan-Africanism does encompass all black people globally, but not just because I don't have to pretty much accept because you're black, because it has to do with your worth. You know what I'm saying? If you're worthless here, why would I want you on my side? You just stay over there. So if FBA wants to be FBA, I'm glad. I think you mentioned something, because they're pretty much, yes, like you're right, they're House of Negro supremacists. If they had like a mandate, or they got the ear of some politician and they have to wear a badge or an ID that says they're FBA, or some license plate tag that is an FBA, please, I would want that, because I'm going to stay far away from you. I want to know what white supremacist allies are. I would love that.
Right.
So but I'm not against that.
But there's no high profile FBAs. There's no FBAs in Congress, in the Senate. There's nobody who's repping FBA or pushing any reparations bill. FBA is really just an online phenomenon, that you have loud voices online who don't manifest anything in the real world. So I'm skeptical that FBA exists at all, other than in the minds of a few people online.
Yeah.
So you see what I'm saying? So yeah.
I totally agree. I mean, it's unintelligent people that is hurt with real gripes, but it's the idiots of the group. But yeah, I'll keep it going. Do with where they're from, it has to do with how intelligent they are, and if they're able to receive information, and it has nothing to do with where they're from. Obviously, we see this dichotomy.
Yeah, but
hold on. I just want to say,
themselves as white. They don't consider that to be the most important element, and that we would have other people.
But what Amanda Seals is also saying is, like, you as an immigrant that's coming here, it's up to you to understand these things. So all I'm saying is that if you have black so-called FBA, so-called ADO, so-called people that's been here, and they don't fucking get it, you have people that have to learn the truth about it because there's a lot of propaganda and a lot of lies out there. So that same grace you would give your own.
Yeah, but
hold on. I just want to say.
But you agree with that statement, or you disagree?
I disagree with that statement because when she
to happen to allow people to get out of poverty. We are seeing inflation. We also have people in our family that have done it. So we have not had people that have done it. My mother came to America with an entire nursing degree. I can't say, oh, well, my mother did it. Why can't you? Because
My mother was pregnant at 19 from the south side of Chicago with no degree and still made
good for your mom. But this is the thing.
So we can't
your mom is, it's not, the question isn't whether or not some people.
Hold on. She said good for your mom.
It is not available to everyone in an equal way.
Yeah, but
hold on. I just want to say.
But you agree with that statement, or you disagree?
I disagree with that statement because what she just said was good for your mom. So why can't somebody say good for your Nigerian ass coming over here and what you did? You understand what I'm saying? She's sitting there trying to say that, oh, if I'm Nigerian, I come over. But what the problem is people don't understand that even with them coming over here and them doing this, them being foreigners coming to here, you know what I'm saying? It's a piece of respect that you need to have for the people that come here. We are the only people that are disrespected by foreigners that come over here, and they've been.
That's a damn lie.
That's a full blown lie. I love Uncle, but he just be talking out his ass sometimes, even that be his opinion or not.
He's repping his tribe, is what it is. He sees him as being a part of this tribe, and he's got my tribe is right or wrong. I don't agree with that.
Yeah, and to say we're the only ones that's like, now I get the whole thing. If you coming to America, you're trying to understand America and how it is, and that doesn't apply to her because she sounds like she's like half Nigerian and maybe she has like one American parent or whatever. But it seems like she grew up here, and it's the thing I don't understand about these FBA people. They think that they're in this bubble, that in this circle that no one is a part of. And they're in this town somewhere where no one sees what the fuck they do. And that's how they sound. I'm like, what are you talking about?
They think that they have control to determine who comes in and who goes out. Like, they think that, you have to be on code. If you're immigrating here from another country, then you have to bow the knee and you have to listen to what we say. Like, I think it's a misunderstanding of how immigration works in America. No FBA has to sign off on your immigration paperwork. Exactly. Do you see what I'm saying? Like they think that somehow, you know what it is? I think that Black Americans paid the highest price for American citizenship. 250 years of slavery, 100 years of Jim Crow segregation, which is like racial apartheid, and endured Willie Lynch, Jim Crow, lynchings, a lot of mistreatment in this country. And they did have a struggle for civil rights. It entailed a civil war, and I'm gonna
cut you off for like 2 seconds. That got nothing to do with Black immigrants though.
Right, but that's the thing.
Continue. So that's the funny thing. They got smoke for us, and we hate you, but the person that's kicking your ass for generations, you got no problem with that. But go ahead.
But it's misdirected because the people who put them through all these things are the white majority. But I think there's a fear there. They're not gonna ever, puff up at the white majority who actually put them through that. But they feel like they've paid this high price for American citizenship, and to see immigrants come here and succeed without having paid that price, it's a despair. It's like a lost, what's the word? There's a name for this, like a sunk cost fallacy. They think, we had to do all this, and we're at the same place as immigrants who are just arriving. So there's a resentment there. Like, how dare these immigrants come in and succeed without having gone through the history or having to wrestle with the same history that we have to wrestle with? Do you see what I'm saying? Like,
that is fair, and I could actually see that. And they don't like when I use Dr. Claude, but Dr. Claude did say, hey, that I heard him say that. I think he said in 2015, 2016, Black people will be like a economical underclass, right? Because you have all these other groups coming in, right? So we know Latino people are coming at a way higher concentration than Black people, but knowing that how, again, you can never rise higher than your leader, knowing that Tariq Nasheed is a fucking coward, and when he's out there in LA talking shit about Latinos and stuff like that, he was nowhere to be found.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I understand like the whole WoW thing, but at the same time, it's like you got no smoke for the Ukrainians coming in here. You got no smoke.
No.
All the other Europeans in here doing better than us, Black immigrants.
They're not going to have smoke because they, at the end of the day, it's those same people that they are hoping pays reparations. So you're not going to bite the hands that could feed you reparations, even though it's the same people who Willie lynched you, Jim Crowed you, and mistreated you for centuries in this country. You're not going to you're going to just be quiet, and you're going to try to transfer that anger to immigrants who are coming into this country who didn't do any of that, because you feel resentful that they didn't have to go through what the white man put you through. You see how crazy that is? Because the white man didn't put the immigrants through that.
I get that, but I absolutely get that, and I understand. I don't know what to call that. I don't want to call it jealousy. I don't want to call it, well, you came in at the end of the beating, but at the same time, that's just is what it is. That's not my fault. That's not their fault. That's not our fault.
They're making it our fault. They're making it the immigrant fault. Like what
and
they went through is
you got Black people that were here. Now I'm gonna go further back where they don't like to. There's Black people that were here. That goes back probably like to the late 1800s that weren't considered. So you have people from Barbados that founded, and other Caribbean people that founded the state of Florida before it came a state. And white people and so-called FBA people met Miami that was already an established place already.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But they were going through the same thing that the other Black Americans were also going through. So no, we weren't going through like chattel slavery like that. Yes, but we were still going through it. So I don't understand why they would be more upset at us when you got the brunt of it, but we're all here right now, and both of us are catching hell. That's the part that I don't understand.
Because they see immigrants as a possible threat to their reparations. The whole reason to call yourself an FBA or an ADOS is to separate that you are eligible for reparations. And I think they see immigrants as a possible competition for reparations, or somebody who may intercept their reparations, or who will somehow make reparations.
I don't think it's that. I mean, I do think some of them are stupid enough to believe that. Because even Yvette Carnell said they want our reparations. How are they going to? This person is from Grenada or Guyana or Trinidad. How are they getting reparations?
They're not even
again?
eligible. Yeah.
It's like, why are you feeding the trolls though? Like that, I don't get that. I think what it is a little bit of that, and I think it's like, oh my gosh, the white man may confuse me for them, and we're gonna be forgotten. We was here first. So I think they trying to see us like us jumping the line as far as being recognized and being more recognizable than them, even though we all look the same. You know what I'm saying? But if I think it's really more, they're going to be faded into the background, into nothing. Oh, because you got these new Blacks here. Wow, they're new. They're more interesting. Let's pay attention to them. Oh, wow, they commit less crime. Oh, wow, the Breast and Bryce is coming here on V1 on B1 visas. Oh, wow. And it's like, hey, we've been here before you. Like, what the hell? I think that's what it is. Which, again, that's a very legit concern, and I get it. I have no problem with the concept of FBA, of Black people being recognized as their own ethnicity. But in the way they're doing it, I totally disagree with it.
I disagree with it too. I'm just trying to understand it. I kind of see it as kind of like FBAs, right? They see themselves through the eyes of the white man, and what they want, and they see other Black people through the eyes of the white man. I think this is why they hate themselves and other Black people because they see themselves through the eyes of the white man. They're stuck in this view, and it's kind of like imagine you're the first child, right? And you've been in this house by yourself for hundreds of years. All of a sudden, there's other children in the house, and you're not the favorite anymore. You know,
You can call them Cinderella.
I think they want the white man to hold them up as, oh, you're my favorite. Like
Yes.
they want proximity to whiteness, and they want to be the favored. They want to be in the favored position, and
that's the thing that they don't understand, because they'll put that on us. And I'm gonna play it for. I like this conversation, but I want to get over with this.
Yeah.
From us coming from places, and there's a video I'm going to play once we get through this that says the same. I'll put it in Discord, so it's going to be very familiar to you. We don't have a need to please white people because there's no fucking white people in Nigeria. No fucking white people in Guyana to cater to. It's like, the fuck? I don't give a fuck about y'all. You know what I'm saying? It's more tribal there. In my country, it's race and class. With you is in Nigeria, it's just class.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It's tribal. It is tribal too.
Tribal too, and tribal and class. So, but the whole point, there's no white people to fucking impress. So we're doing something. We're doing something for our own benefit. Fuck white people. The thing is, they think America is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, stage in the world.
Right.
And Black Americans adopt this ideology that everybody's looking at me. So whatever I do, they're going to do and they're going to mimic, which is partially true, but no one gives a fuck about what you're doing. Like, why the fuck? Why would someone in Guyana, Nigeria care what the fuck the average Black person does? That doesn't benefit their life.
They want American exceptionalism to be applied to being a descendant of chattel slavery. So they want chattel slavery to be the thing that elevates them above all other Black people in the world. We were slaves in America. That makes us the best of the best.
Like my brother Anthony McPhail would say, when he talk about FBA, he's like, Kofi. He's from Louisiana. Shout out to Anthony. Shout out to Bitter Medicine Podcast. Chuck, you would be a very good asset on there. It's 8:00 every Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Pan-African panel. If you want to be a part of the panel just like this, he just talk about things that's going on in Africa, just all over the world where there's Black people. And we have some people from Kenya, we have some people that's on the continent, we have people everywhere. So you would be a good addition to that. But I'm saying that to say, he would say, Kofi, they're plantation bragging. They're just happy that they won the plantation lottery.
Right.
That's it. They won the plantation lottery because out of all the places that they were where child slavery was happening, you know what I'm saying, right now, America is the biggest plantation world power. It's not Guyana, it's not Jamaica, it's not Trinidad, it's America. So it's kind of like a foolish pride in a way. It's very odd, but
we got the master. We're at plantation in Babylon or something like that. Yeah, I got you.
Plantation Babylon, plantation Garden of Eden. Yeah, let me keep it going because Uncle's gonna say even more wild shit.
Benefit off of us because they look like us, but they're not one of us.
He says, "Is another FBA trope." Where, and they keep saying it, not saying Uncle's FBA, but even if it's not FBA, it's the same trope that they're saying. How am I eating off of you? I did a YouTube video about that. You have an empty plate. Even, again, I like to use people that they hold in high esteem. FBA holds in high esteem. You have Dr. James Small saying, like, why are you getting mad at other Black people that's coming here trying to make money just like everybody else comes here to make money? You have no problem with a European coming here making money, but you got a problem with your brother here making money. See, the problem is that we haven't done enough for ourselves to take care, I'm paraphrasing here, to hold ourselves down economically. What we should be in a position, and being here for so long, when we see someone from Ghana or Nigeria or Burkina Faso or wherever on the continent in the Caribbean hey, brother, this is how everything is. You can stay in our neighborhood. Is a place for you to get your numbers up, to make your community bigger, to make your black economy bigger. But we're not doing that. So what we do? You're gonna hate on the Nigerian, but the Chinese coming over here and they're doing that. They got a place for them. They got a job ready for them. The Indians, the East Indians are coming here. They got a place for them. They got the Latinos. They're doing the same thing. We're not doing the same thing, but you're mad at that person because you don't got your shit together. You know what I'm saying? So it's very sad when Unc and other FBA say that. He'll explain it. Go ahead. I'll play.
And she's sitting there and saying, why can't
let him finish his point? Let him finish his point because I want to respond to that. Yeah, I'm letting him finish his point because he's hanging himself right now.
No, I'm just saying. I'm seeing when they say good for your mom.
Yeah, good. And when she was saying, good for your mom. Good for your mom is the same thing as somebody could say good for you as being a Nigerian coming over here and you did this. Good for you. That don't mean that all Nigerians are that way. That doesn't mean that all people are this or that is this way. But they come over here and they want to benefit off of us, but want to look down on us at the same point. And that makes no sense.
Now, I want to respond to that. It sounds like you're personalizing it. She didn't say anything about Black Americans, and no one benefits off of Black Americans. So I don't understand what you mean by that. There's no welcome mat of saying, okay, you're Black. You're not from Nigeria, from West Africa. So now you're a Black American, consider Black American. So now you're Black American. Here are your social benefits. No, there's no fucking benefits to that.
Yes,
same
it is.
trials
Yes,
and tribulations.
it is.
Hold on. The same trials and tribulations. Hold on. Let me finish my point. Let me respond. The same trials and tribulations that you get, I get. Right? As if she's a naturalized citizen. Right, the same. We are seeing the same, and and this is true. So I don't understand what you mean benefit off of Black Americans. I don't get. There's unless you. I don't understand what that concept, where that comes from. It's a talking point that I never really hear anyone hash out and say, okay, these are the points. Go ahead.
All right. If they come over here, you come over here. You can get a United, a Negro college fund. You be lumped into there. That's and it was also yes you can. Yes if you are a citizen, yes you can. If you are immigrant.
Okay, so he said if you're a citizen, yes you can. So you're saying that Black people are not Black, so we can't get United Negro College because we're not Black. I get what he's saying, but then again, I don't understand what he's saying.
Nigerians are not Negroes, is what I'm hearing. But there is a grain of truth. Okay, not a grain of truth, but I would say this. So the civil rights struggle, the civil rights movement in America, not only won for Black American civil rights, but other groups benefited from the civil rights movement. It really did. By the civil rights movement expanded the American democracy, gave civil rights and voting rights to Black Americans, but also made those rights available to other immigrant groups and people who aren't Black Americans. So I gotta say, shout out to African Americans for that movement. So yeah, my father went to an HBCU, so that would not be possible without Booker T. Washington building Tuskegee Institute. So I got to give shout out to Booker T. Washington. But what FBAs are trying to do, they want immigrants to pay homage to to them as individuals. Do you understand? Like, I got to bow the knee to Unc because, I got good grades in school and got a scholarship. So now I owe Unc something. This is what doesn't make sense to me.
No, that's pretty much this. When they say eat off of us, like what did you do? So if you want to personalize like you just did, shout out to Booker T. Washington, Booker T. Washington. Not everybody did that, and at the same time, Steve will also say like he would kind of push back, push back on when it comes to HBCUs. He's like, what are we talking about? It's not even black funded. The United States government funds on HBCUs. So he said we don't even fund our own universities. But yes, there is a grain of truth to that, and it's a little bit more nuanced because first of all, it's like saying, well, okay, I'm black, so I shouldn't get the same scholarship as you, even though it's a scholarship for black people. So you saying it should be a scholarship for black immigrants alone. So he kind of wants, it sounds like to me, he wants to have like a type of separatist type of government, like a Jim Crow. And again, when you're the child of slavery and Jim Crow, you think you have a very American Eurocentric way of viewing things that you think it's just because you're just so used to it. But white people don't do that shit. You know what I'm saying? But you're gonna do that.
Okay, the Civil Rights Act, Title VII of the 1965 Civil Rights Act, included gender as a protected class. So what that did in practice is that, you know, black people fought and died and were assassinated to help pass this act and, you know, make it into law. By adding gender, it redistributed the benefits of the Civil Rights Act, namely affirmative action, to white women who are much larger in number. So the Civil Rights Act has been co-opted more by these white people, and now LGBTQ people are co-opting the Civil Rights Act and getting more benefits from it than the black people who fought and died for it. But you don't see Unc angry at the white women who are benefiting from DEI and affirmative action. He's only going to be angry at any black immigrant he sees or perceives as doing better than him in the country. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's a misdirected anger.
I agree 100%. The only thing I not even with a pushback, but I would add to and again, this is an FBA talking point. I don't think Onk even likes FBA. I don't think he does because he be pushing back on certain individuals. But it's an FBA talking point, and again, they think that their history is in this bubble that no one knows about, and it goes me as a quote unquote tether and that don't know nothing. I know more than their history,
right?
Because if you're saying that you did all these things, so there's no such thing as a Malcolm X, there's no such thing as a Shirley Chisholm, there's no such thing as a Kwame Nkrumah, there's no such thing as Kwame Ture, there's no all these Caribbean African people that put in work and shared solidarity on a grand scale, on a public scale, that did that. That's kind of like you're spitting in their face, to me personally speaking. So I understand if it's something like, oh, you couldn't find an African or a Caribbean nowhere in sight, and we did it all by ourselves. But that's not. Then
these are false narratives. The FBA ideology is built on top of false narratives. Like, they want to reinterpret the world based on this false narrative and this false ideology that you know, we are the slavery made us special, but also we're Indians.
And, you can't forget the white man. We're special because we are in closer proximity to white people. We're in the belly of the beast. We're not that African because not many Africans came over here. Look at my DNA. I got all this European in me, and you're dark skinned and you're African. That's what it is. So when I'm studying American history and I see especially I'm going to pat myself on the back, the monumental, the contributions that Guyanese people that came to America that were naturalized or immigrant or whatever that contributed to America, the political landscape, the educational landscape would be so freaking different. So when they say this, like I say, the first black woman to run for president was Shirley Chisholm. She's Guyanese. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? She wasn't talking against black people. She was talking for black people, representing for black people as a whole. She's like, well, I know I'm just a tether, but you know, these FBAs here, they need representation and they trusted me. Like, no one thought like that.
That's true.
No one thought like that. And so, like you said,
my apologies. I got a phone call. I got to drop down for 1 second, but I'm gonna hop back up in a few minutes.
No problem. Just come back up. No problem. So I'll keep it pushing.
and you're a citizen, yes, you can. That's not true. And also, you can also look at it far as in things that anything that comes to things that like the benefits that we have as you know what I'm saying, as being here, anything that they say that, oh, black people
you said United Nation
you have a place. Where else? All right, after the end of that right there, after the end of everything, you can take your ass back home and they will accept you there. And you just won't.
So it sounds like Unc may be a little mad. So if I could come here and if I choose to leave, I have an option to leave. It sounds, he said it has, you could take your ass back home. You know what I'm saying? It sounds like he has that. So he sounds like, I like to use this phrase, the caged bird. Is anyone familiar with Maya Angelou? Why the caged bird sings, right? So he sounds like a caged bird, or, you know, that analogy where you have the elephant, that's the little baby elephant that's tethered to a chain in the ground, and it think it can't get out of that chain in the ground, even though it's big enough and it's strong enough. They feel that they can't get free, even though they're like a 6-ton elephant, and the chain is now so weak and it's grown to the point where it could easily break its shackle. But it sounds like Unc has not really broken that shackle, or even know that the shackle is there, or he's happy to be shackled, because you have freedom. You could go and be anywhere. The world is your oyster. There's a whole big black world out there where you don't have to feel that you have to be up under white people or be up under your oppressor, right? And you don't have such a victim mentality that everybody hates me, because there's a lot of black people out there, and I don't know a lot of black people, but the black people that I know and from different nations that I know, they are very beautiful people. But you have to change your mindset and your mentality in order to see that and feel that you're this caged bird that can't fly nowhere. You're a bird. You're meant to fly. You're not meant to be in a cage.
They understand that. What are the benefits? What are the benefits?
You're saying United Nations.
What are the benefits?
We could get that. What's the other things?
What's the other things that you can get? You can get anything that any black American in your country don't get. You get all the benefits that we get from over here.
What is that? That's what I'm asking.
Living a much better life than you would where you're from.
Now,
point
you're
blank,
full of shit,
a much better life.
Cap on that, because that's extremely racist. So again, he's gonna say living a much better life than we did over there, right? So again, that's a very racist, ignorant, house niggerish shit to say. That's some shit a fucking crack ass white boy would say. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm surprised he didn't say, well, you could go back to the jungle, because that sounds like the next thing that will come out his mouth. That's no different. That's just no different from me saying, well, I should have played that. So I don't know if you guys, I should play that later. That's no different than if I was a white man and saying, well, you're only doing good because you guys got welfare and you live in the projects, or you probably still live in the projects and you got welfare and you got food stamps. That's the only reason why you're able to eat. So the white man is giving you a better lifestyle here. Like what? Like I don't, like, who are you to tell me that? I don't know what your lifestyle is. I don't know if you're on public assistance. I don't know these things. So why am I making these assumptions? You see what I'm saying? So it's like the whole, he reminds me of the woman, the FBA minister. I'm gonna use an FBA because of her mentality. She was like, thank God, it was a minister in Florida. She said, thank God for the crack house. Thank God for slavery. Because if it wasn't for slavery, I'd be in Africa somewhere worshiping a tree. That's giving me right now. You know what I'm saying? That's what's that giving me right now. This self-loathing, this unadulterated ignorance about the world per se, because I don't know what he means by, well, a better life here. In what regard, sir? Or do you live a better life here than, so let's take me, for instance.
Let's take me, for instance, right? I'm from Guyana, right? So I'm gonna run real quick. What are the benefits of living in Guyana than being here? And mind you, I don't think he knows a lot of immigrants. I know immigrants from Jamaica, from my country, from Africa. They come here on a work visa. They can extend the work visa. They can apply for citizenship. They'll work here, but like, I can't wait till this job is over. I'm coming back. I'm going back home. I can't live in this place. This place is not for me. It's dirty, it's nasty. The people here are I don't get certain things that I could get here. It's loud. It's some people just don't like it here at all. So take for instance, so I was going to use myself. So if I go back home, well, I'm about to go back probably at the end of the year or sometime in next year in spring. You know what? One thing I don't have to worry about? I don't have to worry about white cops licking me upside my head because I'm walking down the street. But maybe Unc likes that. Maybe that's better for him. I could go to a black-owned beach, right? To a beach. I don't have to worry about being harassed. The food is better, right? I could go and get food that is wholesome, that's not full of all types of chemicals and pesticides and all that. So I eat better. I don't have to worry about my well-being, my family's well-being. I don't have to worry about redlining. I don't have to worry about the government coming after me because I'm black. There's a lot of things I have to worry about. The lifestyle there is, your everyday life is more serene. The weather's better. There's a lot of positive things there. Saying I don't have to prove to be a human being. Like, you know what? I gotta prove that I gotta be human. There's no white people there for me to impress. We spoke about that already. It's a regular. It's pretty much what white people have here in America. So I don't know what he means by better. So if you want to see mean by better, yeah, America has a better infrastructure. You know what I'm saying? In Guyana, most of the roads are paved, the infrastructure is good. Guyana is one of the in the Caribbean, one of the I think probably one of the top 5 places that's growing economically. Already has $1 billion economy. I'm safe with it. They have a black military. I'm safe with that. I don't have to worry about things like that. But that's enough. So again, I don't know what he means by better lifestyle. People come here to work. That's it. It's a job. People come here to work. That's it. But I'm gonna keep it plain.
Not racist, it's the truth. Because the top 1% of y'all come over here and want to deal with and want to.
Let me state why it's racist.
Hey, fellas, I love y'all. We gotta move off of this one. We about to get back into the.
All right.
That's like me saying like black people begging for shit. I could be better. Like that's just a racist statement.
I'm gonna make sure that I save some room for unpack for y'all to unhash this. I keep saying I don't want to completely. I try to give y'all a little room to kind of work it out a little bit.
People are killing each other at a vast, crazy rate. Black men rapping about it. It's savagery. It's barbaric. And we shouldn't be doing it as a people. We should try to get more Ben Carson's. Ben Carson's cousins were murdered when he was younger, but his mother came to him and gave him a book and told Ben Carson to read and study so do not be like his cousins. And Ben Carson separated 2 twins at the back of the head. And he's known as one of the best renowned neurologists or neuroscientists that we've ever seen, right?
Ben Carson said that slaves were immigrants.
Well, they were brought here to the United States, and many of them were slaves, and you know that to be a fact.
What is the difference between
can you pause that real quick?
And being a stolen person?
Oh,
I mean, I understand that people were stolen here, but
Yeah, trigger warning, right? Ben Carson was disrespectful as he was saying that. Let me preface that first. Not that it's going to matter because everyone's going to get triggered. When we look up the definition of immigrant is a person who moved from one place to live somewhere permanently. That's it. That's all that it means. So the forced migration of Africans being sent to America into chattel slavery is a forced migration, aka forced immigration. But what in the sense that Ben Carson was saying it was to undermine that horrific thing. I just want to say that. You can hit play.
Wait 1 second, just to clarify that.
Hold on.
What? This is your what? Where'd you get that definition from?
Look up the definition of immigrant or immigration. That's all that I'm saying. This is Webster.
So you telling me that you can be an immigrant from slavery? Someone
here you go. Y'all
so if they steal someone, so if someone steals someone and bring them somewhere, they're stealing immigrants and placing immigrants. So if I go to Mexico and steal me a couple of Mexicans and bring them here, they're immigrants. Or are they kidnapped?
Again,
which one are they? Are they kidnapped or immigrants? I'm asking you a question.
So from here, I'm just gonna pull up the definition, right? And this is where it's gonna get, to me, it's gonna get good. Because we speak English, but not a lot of people understands the words that are coming out of their mouth, right? So the English language, that's why I like the written word, because we know definitions always change. Definitions always change, and something that can mean something today could be something different tomorrow. And the reason why it could be a number of reasons due to social norms being changed or other factors involved. That why it could be changed. Doesn't mean that it's right. It means that it's now means something else and is taken on something. That's how language works. But immigrant, for the most part, has not changed. So here's the definition that I'm going to share with you. So let me go back one, because we're going to come to a consensus. I'm going to show you what it is. We're going to come to a consensus. So you see here on Google, the Google version, it says immigrant, a person who comes to live permanently in a foreign country. He's a recent immigrant to the U.S. from Germany. So we have point A and point B so far with just the Google definition. You have point A, this is where you're from, but you choose to go somewhere else, which is point B, right? Person who comes to live, right? Doesn't matter force, doesn't matter if you're on your own fruition. It's just saying you're coming here. Someone could kidnap you and you're still going there. It doesn't mean that well, you're not necessarily going there because you weren't willing going there. That's an asinine way to look at it, right? So let's go into the Merriam-Webster definition, right? One that immigrates, such as a person who comes to a country to take up permanent residence. Or B, a plant or animal that becomes established in an area where it was previously unknown. Fight the dictionary. Fight Webster's dictionary. That's what it says. That's what it says. This is not what Kofi is saying. This is what the English language and the definition of the English language, that's what it's saying. So let's go into the synonyms of what an immigrant is, right? We're going to do a little deep dive here. Synonyms or similar words: migrant, refugee, settler, alien, colonist. See, the foreigner, there is a lot. There's a lot of synonyms that go with it. A lot of synonyms. So that's why I would use forced migration or forced immigration. I would use forced migration, right? That's what I would use. See, migrator, defector, newcomer, right? All these things. Pioneer, right? I'm gonna let this play a little bit more so you're gonna see where their disconnect is. That is the most ridiculous, retarded fucking thing I ever heard. So
Just because the wow. I don't know if I even want to dignify this with an answer, but I'm going to do it anyway for the slow people in the room. For us to understand what a definition is, we have to understand the etymology of the word and the context of the word that the word is being placed in, right? Because you have one word that can mean several things. This is why I use the word immigrant, gave you the breakdown of immigrant, and I also, to show you, to give you a better, broader understanding of the word immigrant is, I also use the synonyms that are interchangeable with immigrant, right? That's all that it is. It's very simple. But the problem is what we're having here, and what Chuck said is that they feel that is this American exceptionalism. They feel they're on par with white people, even though white people was here first, then got them. They still feel they're on par with white people, right? So they don't want to. And I'm not saying that Black people that came here during chattel slavery is the same type of immigration. I already said that. It's the same type of immigration as someone that came here in the early or late. So like Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey is not the same as a Black American that was already here going back 2-3 generations. Not saying that. Right? And that's where context comes into play. Context will come into play. Like, no, we were brought here, a forced migration here due to chattel slavery, because we were taken from Africa and we were brought to America to build the 13 colonies. That's not what Marcus Garvey is. Marcus Garvey is an immigrant that came here on his own fruition. So there was also another conversation that we had on the Discord where people of this panel feel that white people, the colonists, like your Benjamin Franklins, your George Washingtons, the Pilgrims, all the people that the white people that came here from 1492 to Plymouth Rock and all that shit, they're telling me that they are not immigrants. And when they got the Africans with the forced migration, because they're not immigrants, even though we saw the definition of what an immigrant is, they're saying they're also not immigrants. So the white man is not an immigrant, and you're not an immigrant by default, whatever. I find that to be funny as shit. And I also find that to be very interesting, because to me, if anyone was looking at Jubilee, it sounds, you sound like this white man right here. You sound like this white man right here. If you guys remember this.
I don't know where you're at in the UK. You're from India, so I don't really.
I'm not from India.
Oh, sorry, your parents are from India,
Yeah.
so
I'm an American
you
citizen.
have your own states.
I'm an American, you know.
You're an American citizen?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. I don't know how you got that, but fair enough. Here's the thing.
Are you an American citizen?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But here's the thing.
Not sure how you got that. Okay.
Born here.
Okay.
Born here, and my family lineage is settlers from the 1500s, so I have some stake in the claim here. Okay,
But you're
a little different.
But you're
than
a
yours.
descendant of immigrants, settlers,
I didn't know.
colonialists.
Yeah,
You don't
colonials.
look, you don't look
yeah.
very Native American to me.
Native. I am Native American. Whites
not.
are Native Americans. What are
Sorry,
you talking about?
You're not.
What are you talking about?
You're not.
Whites are Native Americans.
Really?
So it's the same. I'm going to let it play again, and you're going to see the keywords that Mehdi Hassan uses.
I don't know where you're at in the UK. You're from India, so I don't really.
I'm not from India.
Oh, sorry, your parents are from India, so
I'm an American
you have
citizen.
your own states.
I'm an American, you know.
You're an American citizen?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. I don't know how you got that, but fair enough.
I don't know how you got that, but fair enough. Sounds like FBA to me. Sounds like certain segments of Black Americans.
Here's the thing.
Are you an American citizen?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But here's the
Not
thing.
sure how you got that. Okay.
Born here.
Okay.
Born here, and my family lineage is set.
My family lineage. So I'm going to go with him because at least white people have some concrete ideology, even though he's off his freaking rocker. But I think he's more concrete in his quote unquote ideology of what his family lineage is.
It's just settlers from the 1500s.
They're settlers from the 1500s. Didn't we just broke down what the immigrant was and settlers are when we were seeing the synonyms of it. I'm gonna go back. I'm sorry. I'm going back. If you're with me, you ain't. But I'm going back because the more you know, the more you grow, and no one's half the battle. G.I. Joe. So right here, he said settler, right? Foreigner. Settlers are also foreigners, right? Where's that word? Squatter, right? Pilgrim, colonist. We know settlers are colonists. When we talk about America, pilgrims are also that. So Mehdi Hassan is right. You're also an immigrant. He said that you're not a Native American, right? He also said you're not a Native American. Pioneer. These are these little white words that make the word colonialism and invasion and make it seem a little nicer, like a white lie. A lie is bad, but if you make it white, it's not so bad. Pioneer, pilgrim, colonist, squatter. That's what they did. White people came in there and they squatted on Native Americans' land, right? So that's what an immigrant is, right? So they're under the opinion that white people aren't immigrants, when by the same definition saying that they are immigrants. But I'm going to do something else. I'm going to see what the definition of colonizer is. Hold on one second. Here we go. What is the definition of colonizer? Colonizer, right? A country that sends settlers to a place and establish political control over it. The example, Portugal was a major colonizer in both Brazil and parts of Africa. Again, point A, point B. You're originally from point A, you went to point B with a place to colonize it. And we already know what it is. That's you're immigrating. You're moving from one place to the next to establish a place of your own, right? Let's go to Webster real quick. Colonizer, noun, variance, one that colonizes, an individual or entity that establishes a colony or colonies, such as a nation or state that takes control of a people or area as an extension of a state power, an extension of their state, because they're somewhere different. B, C uses the paragraphs of the below. A person who migrates, the word migrate, a person who migrates to and settles in a foreign area as part of a colony. Let's do synonyms of colonizer. Settler, colonial, pioneer, colonist, homesteader, woodsman, pathfinder, mountain man, trailblazer, come on now. Come on. I believe I made my point. So when people say the nonsense that no one gives a fuck what you believe, we're using the framework of definitions within English that we use. If you want to have your alternate opinion, that's fine. I don't give a fuck about it, because I'm in facts. I don't debate opinion. It's an opinion that a Corvette looks better in red. I'm not going to argue that. An opinion is Kobe Bryant was the best to ever done it. Maybe Michael Jordan. That's an opinion. I'm not arguing that. That's lowbrow intellectual sparring to me. I don't care about that. The framework that we're working in or within the definitions that we're using, right? So I'm going to play it forward. I'm going to move it forward, because what they're saying absolutely makes no sense whatsoever.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay,
that sounds very convenient. I can do that too. That sounds very convenient.
I don't disagree.
English doesn't mean English. So if something says hot, doesn't mean that it's hot. It means that it also means cold. Like, come on,
Kofi,
like
I don't disagree with your definition, but you have to take into account when slaves were brought over here, there was no country. It's immigration is from one country to the next country.
No,
there was no country here.
So he is kind of sort of right, but being disingenuous at the same time. I showed you the different breakdowns of it. This could be a migrant, doesn't necessarily have to be a country to go to. They're using a country as an example within the context of history, as far as like settlers and migrants. And even if what he's saying is absolutely correct, this is what I'm saying. It's just like that white American boy, them being Black Americans, they're seeing it the same way. So you're telling me that Native Americans that were already on here, it's not a country until the white man comes and makes it a country? There was dozens of tribes here, millions of indigenous people here already in America. So they are coming into a different country. It's not the white man's country yet. So I want to know, are they saying because it's not America yet, it's not a real country? You know, these red savages here, you know, these savages, they ain't a real country. That's the only way what he's saying makes sense. Even though the definition doesn't just mean strictly that. But for argument's sake, it still doesn't make any sense. How you discover shit with people already on the land. With people that already, Native Americans they had homes, they had territories, they had borders, they had houses, they had land, they navigated everything. They know what was there. It's their country. Just because a white man doesn't recognize doesn't mean it's not a country. Country, it says
I'm reading the definition.
To live in another place, to live there permanently. Doesn't matter.
It
could be in the ocean. It could be on top of a mountain. It doesn't matter where
So
it is.
it's no such. So that undermines kidnapping.
Listen. I'm gonna read the definition. Immigration is the movement of persons into a new country with the intent to reside in that country. There was no United States.
Can you where are you getting that definition? I read the Merriam.
I just Googled it, and it just says immigration is
action coming living permanently.
This one says the action of coming to live permanently in a foreign country.
Okay, drop down.
This is Oxford.
Yeah, drop down. Click the one simple definition. Where see that? What?
Why gotta be a simple definition? Take the whole definition.
Oh, he definitely did say country in it too, though.
Yes.
Yes, and also saying what I'm saying is the movement of one person
to a new country,
with the
so by force.
So again, I let them share their piece. See, they're taking one definition, not showing the synonyms, and not taking the consequence. I just showed you guys the definition of it. And even if what they were saying is true, they're saying basically that the Native Americans, they're not considered the people that are on there, they're not considered to have a nation of their own, because it's not the white man's nation. So they're not immigrating to a place because the white man officially made America America. It's an asinine, pretty pathetic hill to die on. In my humble opinion, right? So I'm gonna play a little bit more of it. We're pretty much coming to an end right here. Hold on, trying to find that timestamp.
Growing, understanding the real problems, not going out and trying to protest against. You guys don't ever do this. KTS.
You guys don't ever do that. Who is you guys?
Members of the Black community don't want to hold people accountable, especially Black people. So KTS was shot 60 times outside of Cook County, Chicago. How many BLM members came out? You guys, you earlier said BLM.
Stop referring to me as you guys.
Okay, fine. So, for example, we had a really good example of this where it's not a police, because I remember you
Where
said,
are you from?
where am I from? What do you mean by that? Like, what state am I from? Where
Where do you live right now?
I live in Florida. I was born in Angola, though. I was born in sub-Saharan Africa. Okay.
Where did you grow up for most of your time?
In Maine. I lived in North America.
In Maine.
Yes.
And what is the population of Black people in the town that you're from?
It's really extremely low, but I grew up around Black people, and there was a Black community where I lived.
And that Black community that you lived in, did they teach you about Black history in the United States? Like, are your parents Black American?
Yeah, my mom is Black. My father's Black.
No, I'm asking, were they born in the United States?
Because I wasn't born there.
Oh, so you guys are all from Angola?
Yes, but again, like I told you earlier, right? In terms of people like KTS, they were shot. BLM doesn't come out for them. And I remember you earlier said, hold on, can I please finish? You earlier said that BLM is worried about police, but when Daniel Penny choked out the man that we all know was causing violence on that subway train.
He was not causing violence.
He was
causing disruption is not causing violence.
He was threatening people.
Causing disruption is not causing violence.
And the people there helped him also. And you know that he helped them.
I don't know what that has to do with BLM. Random people on the train is not Black Lives Matter.
BLM showed up for that. They just
showed up for what?
BLM showed up threatening white people, saying that they were going to
they didn't. BLM protested.
BLM New York.
BLM protested. Where did you get that from? You see, your sources are not. You're not able to cite your sources.
Please go sit down. Yeah, that's the truth.
It's not the truth. It's not the truth. It's not. Nothing you say is actually the truth. Nothing. You're not even American. You're not even a Black American. As the daughter of an immigrant, it is imperative that Black people from other places understand the disparate difference that they exist from Black people in the United States. It is not the same. Period. And ultimately, the best effort that we can do as a diaspora is to lead in understanding, not in judgment. So when I am talking to somebody from Sudan, from the Congo, from Angola, I am listening to understand their experience, not to undermine it. And I refuse to allow anybody from Grenada, from Angola, from any other place to come and try to undermine the experience of Black Americans.
Woo! Pause. And she was pretty much, she was a billion percent correct. And that's always been my stance. I'm not going to let a Black American undermine an African and their experience in Africa, or a Black American undermine the experience of any Black people in the Caribbean, because you're not there. You don't understand. You don't know what they're going through. All you can do is understand. The same thing comes here. If you're an African or someone from the Caribbean comes over here, you do not dare undermine the struggles that Black Americans go through. Don't you dare do that, right? And this, I love that she did that. And all this does is put a nail in the coffin of the FBA ideology that, oh, if you're from here, all of you think like that. Again, it's very arrogant, ignorant thinking that they feel that, oh, everyone has the same mindset because everyone's a monolith. But right here, you can see you have different people from different walks of life, from different places, coming from different places, different dynamics, but they all have the same flawed ideology, right? So already that puts this whole narrative that they're saying, it puts it to rest. But I 100% agree with what she just said. And this is something that FBA does not apply. Because it's not about correctness. It's not about, hey, look, we just want to be respected. We just want to be recognized. And no, it has to do with jealousy, fear, and being uneducated. That's where all that comes from, right? And I'll defend. I think I proved that. It has to do with jealousy, fear, and just being uneducated is why you have FBA. It has nothing to do with trying to have people understand me, having some sort of camaraderie and respect for each other. No, it has to do, to me, most of it is just fear and ignorance. You know what I'm saying? Then the jealousy comes later, but I agree with everything that she just says. Black people anywhere, no matter where you're from, should not be undermining each other. I don't care who you are. Like I'll defend any Black person. I don't care where you're from. If I see someone undermining your Blackness, whether they be Black, white, polka dot, or checkered, I'm going to come to your defense, because Blackness is already being attacked globally by white people, Asians, and non-Black people. We don't need to be doing that to each other. We don't need to be doing that to ourselves. And that's what FBA needs to learn.
Yo,
that was the barrier.
That's all I be saying.
That's what went viral, Q. That's what went viral, Q. And I agree with her 100 and billion and 10%. And I prefaced that already. Now, no one's going to agree with me and say I'm being hyperbolic or anything crazy because she's holding Black immigrants accountable. There, the other thing happens. But this is what I'm about.
If you say fucking idiot at the end, then I might say it's hyperbolic.
Again, that's why I always say trigger warning, because I could take it on the chin, because the truth is the truth. At the end of the day, we all look as one people. The difference is same thing. And I agree when certain members of quote unquote FBA, this makeup hashtag, saying, hey, look, if I were to go to your country, I got to understand what the norms are, what the do's and what the don'ts is. So you guys also, when you come here, you understand what the do's and what's the history is. That is 120% facts, right?
Kofi, that's all I ever be saying. That's all.
Yeah, but
I
you
be
kind of.
saying.
I love you on, but you be on some other stuff. But I love you, man. But what all I'm trying to say that black people, just like how black Americans aren't a monolith, black immigrants are also not a monolith. And the reason why I like Amanda Seals is doing this because you can see a well-educated black person is knows black history and blows black history and the politics and economics strikes that black Americans have to make. That's the grace that these hashtag online groups don't have. You cannot compare an idiotic immigrant to a well-educated black American. You can't do that. That's dumb.
So Kofi, as a foundation of Black American, this is all we've been saying. We've been asking.
I don't respect the hashtag. You as an African American, I respect that. Yes, go ahead.
I have never called myself African American, so don't tell me I'm an African American. Okay, as a
There's no
foundation,
such thing as FBA. FBA is not recognized by the government or any institution.
Okay,
so go ahead.
I just want to say this as you keep interrupting me. What you just said and how you're responding to me is a contradiction. You're in my country telling me I can't call myself.
Whoa. How is this your country and not my country, sir? This is what I'm
it's
talking
not your country because you weren't born here.
How? Well, hold on. How is this your country and not my country? Break that down. Besides your feelings.
I'm gonna finish my point.
We have hundreds of years here. Hundreds of years.
So so you can see the hypocrisy here, right? You've shown that's why with these FBA people, I really don't. I like to expose them for their own hypocrisy, because I just gave and Chuck was right. You have to kiss their ass, bow the knee, no pushback. They're like children. They're like children. You know, they're softer than baby shit. It's sad. He's gonna say my country. So again, I showed you in the beginning of this live with the Malcolm X, we sick. You know what I'm saying? He has this we sick boss mentality, right? And I wanted him to, and he's not. So I'll just save you the mental anguish of how is it your country and my country when we just talk about who is an American citizen. I'm an American citizen. He is an American citizen. There's nothing that he is entitled to more than me when it comes to American inalienable rights. The only thing that he has over me is that he could become president. That's it. There's nothing more or less that he has that we have together. So again, that's why I say it's a jealousy thing. It's a ignorant thing, because why, even when you show them grace, they still have this, you should be unadulterated, be kissing my ass for just because. No, you didn't do anything. And to respond, oh, we've been here for 100 years. No, you have not been here for 100 of years. You're like 50 something. You talk about your ancestors, right? And your ancestors have paid the price. The same ancestors that you guys say ain't really African. The same ancestors that you guys don't give any respect or homage to, of the struggles that they've been through just because they're African. Your ancestors wanted to go back home to Africa. That's what they were trying to do. As long as saving the holding on tack to their customs, their mores, and their lives. That's what they were. None of you guys respect that. None of you guys respect that or pay homage to that. So please save the bullshit of saying we did this for 100 years. It was your African ancestors. And what are you doing to pay homage to your African ancestors? With this we sick boss mentality. That'll be my question to you. What would be, how are you paying homage to your African ancestors when you fight other Black people on the behest of white supremacy and plantation superiority, having a house Negro supremacy mentality? How are you paying homage to those ancestors? They got their ass whooped and forced to work
and they dare not speak any Bantu or Congolese languages or have religions. How are you paying homage to them? You cannot shame me. You cannot shame me in that regard, because I don't put any type of white ideology, whether it be American, European, over another black person. And that black person has to kiss my ass. After that black person has to kiss my ass because that person is up the white man's ass, happier than a pig in shit. So please, sirs, please, you need to take that somewhere else. Ask yourself, what are you doing that your African ancestors that were mutilated and beaten to make them proud of you today? I don't think it's putting American flags by your fucking name. I don't think it's calling Africans saying Africans have it worse in Africa and better where the white man has made a table for you. Now, again, I'm not taking away any struggles from what black people has done and the work that they put in. But let's be real. Not all y'all niggas is fucking Benjamin Banneker. You weren't fucking architects. You were physical labor, forced physical labor. And this country has not paid you. They have not paid you what is owed to you. Financially, politically, socially, they have not done that. But you're not all fucking Benjamin Bannekers. You're fucking not. Right? It's no different than the whole bunch of Mexicans get paid, which happens to them anyway. They build the whole, let's say, 2 skyscrapers, and the contract is like, I ain't paying you wetbacks. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to say, well, they build it here in New York. They're not going to say, I own New York. They're like, nah, pay me for my work. I built this building. Let's be fucking real. You know what I'm saying? So what have you done to honor your African ancestors? Me personally, I think they're rolling in their graves when they hear these type of conversations coming from you guys. Me personally. So I would like to know, what are you guys doing to honor your African ancestors? I'll keep it playing.
Years.
You're not hundreds of years old.
Fellas, let old man finish his point. I think he was kind of just starting what he was about to say.
Yeah. So as a foundational Black American, this is all we've been asking for, is the people who are actually half foundational Black American and have immigration roots as well, for them to back us up and tell these new immigrants, new foreigners, what the deal is. They lived the life we lived, right? Going back to your naturalized citizen versus the immigrant that immigrated over here, right? These are two different types of people. Amanda Seal, they're the only
I know
ones
I'm cutting you up, but you were supposed to answer, how am I not an American and you are? That was the question.
No, you interrupting my original response.
Question, but he was answering his own statement.
Yeah, well, I was really
No, you didn't answer my question. No, you didn't answer my question to the statement that you made about me. I'm not a real American. So I asked you that question. You're supposed to give me a breakdown, but again, the cover, right? So that's pretty much it. And then I'm pretty much going to end it here. But you could see that the onus is more on immigrants, even though we displayed Black Americans saying the same ignorant shit. FBAs are they're like battered wives. Is like they the people they're supposed to hold accountable, they don't. They're not holding white people accountable. They're not holding other Black people accountable that also, you know what I'm saying, contributes to their hardship. They're gonna say, well, no, it's you, it's that. It's like, no, it's also you. You gotta think that your own people are also doing it. But again, they only have smoke for so-called FBA. They only have smoke for people that are not Black. If you're not Black American, they got no smoke for you. You could coon, you can say all the types of crazy shit, or that's anti-Black. Mum's the word. I don't know nothing. Oh my gosh, I think that Jamaican over there shook his head at an FBA. You know they hate us, right? It's weakness. It's fucking pathetic. It's cowardly. Be honest. Be honest. It's a mindset. It has nothing to do with where you're from. It's your mindset. Have that same energy you do for black immigrants and that you do for the corner. You've been here for hundreds of years. You should have got the shit right, but y'all even don't have the shit right. Y'all shit right. So don't worry about black immigrants. Get your shit together. If you're going to play that game, get your shit together, because obviously your guys don't got your shit together, but you expect people that just got here to have it all together. That makes no sense. Make that make sense. What's the saying? Make sure your whole house is in order before you start pointing at other people. Your whole fucking house isn't in order. Maybe if your whole house is in order, you wouldn't need an Amanda Seals who is not, that is half Black American, to check Black Americans as well as Black immigrants. If you had all your shit together, but you obviously don't. Like I said, it's a mindset. So, what's up, brother Bakari? What's up?
What's going on, man?
Nothing much, brother. Nothing much. Glad that you could
Peace to you.
Make it on here.
Peace to the chat. You know, I caught you late, man. You got to send me. I don't always get the notifications, man.
Oh yeah, my bad, man. My bad. I was doing a lot until that led up to the live, man. But yeah, I'll look out for you next time, because I hope they don't shadow ban me. But yeah, I try to put it out before I go live.
But anyway, I heard the last guy you were just talking to. He said he never called himself African American. He's the foundation of Black America. He must be about 3 years old. So how long has foundation of Black America in that term been?
Not even a decade.
You know, I don't know. Like I always ask, what's the purpose like of some of these like conversations? I saw you one dude from the To Be Fair show putting it talking about voting for the same side doesn't change. See, here's my thing. They're not gonna say anything about the other side. They ain't gonna say nothing about Europeans, really, right? I heard y'all mention somebody, look up the definition of immigrants, right? I don't know if y'all really talked about it, but I don't know if y'all really talked about immigrants. But if y'all did, I bet you none of them mentioned any of the white immigrants being here from Europe.
No, they didn't. They never will. To trip you over there, I've had, not in this live, but I had a conversation somewhere else where they don't think that the colonists, the white people, are immigrants, and they don't believe that Black Americans also are immigrants. I did the breakdown, and I said context matters. So I'm saying what Black Americans been through was a forced migration, right? You're not on par with, let's say, like a Marcus Garvey who came here on his own. Those two things are not the same. But you can't. But all I said, an immigrant is someone who has permanent residence in one place that lives in another place. And I did a whole big breakdown of that and colonizer and everything. And they're saying, well, it's only counts if it's a country. When in 1492, America wasn't a country yet, so we're not immigrants. I'm like, what the fuck? That makes no sense. So you're saying Native Americans was never here? You sound like a goddamn white man discovering shit that's been already discovered by other people. Like, how that make, even if I believe what you're saying, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and it doesn't make any sense. But I'm telling you that you're talking to people that's trying to be MAGA adjacent. They ain't just trying to be white adjacent. They are trying to be MAGA adjacent. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, because anybody that's still talking about Black people being immigrants, when you have some bigot want to put his military in these cities with high Black population to oppress and suppress Black people, obviously the people who they wanted to be in charge don't give a damn what they call themselves. they're showing you they don't like you, but they have no smoke for none of them ever. And the reason I mentioned white immigrants, right, from Europe, when you go out here and you go on these construction jobs, right, people say you see a lot of Mexicans. You do, because white people sorry, and they don't work more than on a job more than 3-4 months, they quit, right? All the time. But if they ever go out there and deal with supervisors and stuff, you're gonna see people from Scotland, you're gonna see people from Ireland,
especially if they're in the union.
You're gonna see people from Russia, you're gonna see people from you're gonna see people from all of these damn European countries who they never say anything, about. Like, like I said, I wanted to do my other show again. I got sick. Like the guy come on my panel talking about when Biden was in, 11 million immigrants was coming in a year or something like that. But since Trump been in, ain't no immigrants came to the country. And I'm like, dude, and that's a lot. So they don't even consider the Afrikaners immigrants who they bought here. And they don't know about the Afrikaners who Trump bought here his first term and just gave them land and houses in Mississippi. They didn't have to pay for nothing, just gave it to them. But I won't say they don't know. What I would say, they won't say nothing about it. So for me, when I talk to you as a brother, I'm like, and I know those your people and you on a channel. But the reason I don't go over there, because it's useless. Because there's no need. You can't. When people can't admit, you know what, I may have fucked up saying, I may have messed up saying, it's good for this person to be president. Or let's vote third party or don't. When people can't accept responsibility for their mess ups, it's like there's no need. I'm saying for me, there's no need for me to talk to these people, because Bawana was doing the same thing. But you know what Bawana said? Bawana said, my bad, I shouldn't have done that. Damn, I realized I was wrong. I respect that. But then he came back the next show and he said, I'm gonna tell you now, these proud Black Americans, is what he said, they would never admit where they messed up at. So it's okay for African Americans to suffer. It's okay for now the grocery store called Kroger. I don't know if they have it up there. It's okay for them.
That's in Georgia. I know Kroger though.
Yeah, and they always talking about Black communities of a food desert. We behind. We don't have nothing, right? But it's okay for these people to start talking about the grocery stores they're about to shut down. It's the grocery stores that's in the Black community, and they will never say anything about that, right?
Oh,
that
they got Kroger shutting down in Georgia?
Yeah, and that don't mean when I say, yeah, but it's shutting down in the Black community though.
Wow.
So when I say it's useless, that don't mean I dislike the people. That don't mean I don't think they might even be good people. But when it comes to certain things, it's just useless. You can't build. Well, I ain't gonna say you can't. I can't build or try to do anything with people like that, because they clearly chose the side of the Klan and the neo-Nazis. And you can hear them talk about it. You can hear them say it when they talk about this our country. The white folks ain't immigrants. You understand what I'm saying? They have clearly chosen the side of the Klan and the neo-Nazi. They have clearly chosen that side, and they don't want to back. They don't want to back away from it.
I played on Malcolm X, Field Negro, and the House Negro, and a lot of things that they're saying mimic that. Like, it's the whole "we sick boss" mentality. Oh, this is my country. This is there's a part of it when he says, when you hear Negro talking about my country, this is our astronauts, our this and our. He said, this is a Negro that's out his mind, and this is what you, as a Black man to another Black man, this is what they're telling me. Now you are a person. I said there's nothing wrong in being Black and being patriotic. But they're on some white patriotism. That's the part that I don't get. I understand, saying I'm a dual citizen. I love this country. I love where I'm from. So there's nothing wrong with being Black and patriotic, but they're on some white boy patriotism to the point where
they chastise, they're chastising black people. They never take that towards white people, like, hey, well, where are you from? Oh, you from Ukraine? You're not really American. They don't fix their mouth to say that at all. That's why I know it's a bunch of cowards. There's cowards in every society. These cowards that so happen to be black Americans are just the biggest cowards, the loudest cowards in online only, thank God. Because they don't have heart to touch grass. Some of them even don't know if they're really black or not. You know what I'm saying? I heard one person say some of them are even freaking bots. So I'm not getting, really raising my blood pressure and getting mad with these bots. I'm pretty much want to shine the light on their ignorance, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? But
but I'm gonna tell you, some of them have touched grass, and like I said, man, you come to Georgia, you damn sure see some of them standing out there, and they will come to your events, your African-centered events, to come tell you that you are Native American. Don't call yourself African American.
Oh, I was where in Gwinnett, in Atlanta? Where we going?
In Atlanta.
Stone Mountain? Where we going?
Yeah, you can be in Atlanta and look, and they come with the same old lie, and don't care how much you show them. Yeah, Jesse Jackson thought of African American in 1989. I say, dude, that is not true. I don't even go all the way back. But if they study Mary McLeod Bethune, they would see she had African American Women's Book Club. You know who Mary McLeod Bethune is, right?
Yeah. I never read any of her work, but I'm familiar.
Well, but she the founder of Bethune-Cookman University.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you look up, just see her. If they read, just follow. You ain't got to read on her. Just study her, and you will see where it just said organization she had, the African American Women's Book Club. They say the Afrique, which was short for African, Afrique Club for this. We always called ourselves African. But the one guy who spoke to you, he's like 3 years old. He said he called himself FBA. That's been around about 3 years on the internet.
And if you got the beginning of it, and FBA is going crazy right now because Tariq Nasheed went on Vlad, and he changed the definition of FBA again. I don't know if you caught that. So he went on Vlad, and Vlad was like, he was saying Drake is not FBA. He's like, wait, what do you mean Drake is not FBA? You always said that all you need is one parent that's FBA. Yeah, but Drake was born in Canada, and he stayed in Canada. He was raised in Canada, so he's not an FBA. And he used the Nazi term. He says, see, it has to do with land and blood, or pretty much like blood and soil.
Your blood quantum.
Yeah, but he's saying you have to be raised in the place in order to be an official a Black American father, but he's not really Black American because he wasn't raised in America. That's not how a lineage is.
So then you're one. See, and here's the thing: they act like, not we. So let me stop that. They're the only people. Think about this. What people brag? My lineage started during slavery. You would never nobody else. Nothing in your lineage history. Everything from you was just a slave. That's when the lineage started. It doesn't even make sense. But
it does make sense if you're ashamed. It does make sense if you're like the white people shame you for being African. It has to start from slavery and don't claim the African part of it. They're African, so again, it makes sense to them because again, me growing up
or whatever, but he's a problem. And what they don't ever say is because he always, I've heard him say this several times. It have nothing to do with no hate or race, because I got white and Indian all up and down. He has a problem. He has a problem with Africa. So since they are following him, they have a problem with Africa. And the guy who started FBA have a problem with anything that he's not going to get paid doing. So he's going to get paid from a bunch of fools talking about their FBA.
But again, like I told my other guests that was here, that mentality exists in America. That mentality exists in the Caribbean. And that mentality exists in Africa. Everywhere the white man colonized, he tried to undermine who you are, your culture, your language, your religion as lesser than, right? So in that particular society that he has created, you're gonna have people that have very low self-esteem and that are very educated that take on these ideologies. So it's an ideology, you know what I'm saying? But it always existed. But fortunately enough, I think that a lot of us has not adopted that ideology. And nobody like me. I'll gladly use myself. I'm not as fortunate as you, Brother McCarty. Now, my parents are educated. I come from a very well-educated family in Guyana to even here. You know, only I found out probably like 10 years ago that my aunt, like in my country, they had a African American club, and my aunt Mary, I forgot this guy's name. He knew Walter Rodney and everything, but I didn't know that because my family doesn't go around saying we're African, we're African, we're African. They just go around saying I'm Guyanese. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm black and I'm Guyanese. Yeah, okay, that's it. They don't push that that Africanness. So me, I grew up being by default a little anti-African because I saw them as somebody else. No one sat me down and told me that, yes, just because, yeah, you guys are black, right? Just because he's from a different place and you're from a different place doesn't mean you're two different people. You're the same people in two different places. I didn't learn that until I was like probably like junior high school, pushing on to like high school, because I love history. And I had to kind of learn it on my own a little bit. Again, my family's not anti-African. It's just that no one is educated enough within my family to teach you that. You know what I'm saying? And some people in my family found out later. Some people already knew. You know what I'm saying? But it's just different levels to it. So that type of ideology is just in all of our societies due to us being, you know, had ancestry in so-called slavery. But the reason why FBA does that is because they believe in that. They don't want to be African because, again, like I said, they want to be on a winning team. Some people just want to be on a winning team no matter what. You know what I'm saying? And according to them, which is not true, being African is not on the winning team, even though Africa is supporting so many countries, businesses, as far as raw material, products, everything. Like if you go further back, if you go into, oh man, I forgot what Roman emperor was. Even back in Roman times, he says Africa is Rome's breadbasket. Africa has always been the nurturer, the giver, and supporter of mankind. But they don't know this. But let me play this real quick because I'm at a little bit past the 3-hour mark. And I guess we could comment on this and leave it at that. But I found this to be a very good to end this. So we can talk about this. This is very, I like what he's saying.
Caribbeans and Black Americans are different. Black Africans and Black Caribbeans are closer, almost identical. They have high. Black Africans and Black Caribbeans and Black Americans are different. Black Africans and Black Caribbeans are closer, almost identical. They have high, and I'm generalizing now, but generalization is pretty accurate. They have high self-esteem and lower levels of confidence. Black Americans have higher levels of confidence and lower levels of self-esteem. Because of slavery lasted here longer, it was turned into a business, and it was an intentional desire to destroy your spirit, because if they had this black man here, coming here with all that build and all that brawn from, by the way, they say they went to Africa, oh, we're dumb, we're stupid. Knock that off. 1500s was an agricultural age. The wealthiest gold in America, in the world, were cotton crops and sugar crops and tobacco crops, which are in areas which were very humid, very hot, and the soil was almost dead. Who could master dead soil? Africans. So they went halfway around the world to find the geniuses of the soil. They brought us halfway around the world because we could build wealth for them and income. But they didn't need this brother's attitude. They needed his body. So they separated from his family, so he had no hope. They abused his wife and held him down so he couldn't protect her until he gave up his self-esteem. Now he's just machinery. So now 400 years later, we never healed. So if I don't like me, I'm not gonna like you. If I don't feel good about me, I'm not gonna feel good about you. If I don't respect me, don't expect me to respect you. If I don't love me, I don't have a clue how to love you. And here's the big one. If I don't have a purpose in my life, I'm gonna make your life a living hell. Whatever goes around, comes around. So we have high confidence, Jerome, because we've competed and succeeded against all odds in the biggest economy on the planet. So we have high confidence because we're competent, but we have low self-esteem, which is why you have crab in the barrel. It's why somebody's sitting there going, what is he talking about? My life? Why would anybody have anything with something positive to say right now? So if you got a problem with me, you need to check yourself. I don't even know you. So as Quincy Jones once said, not 1 ounce of my self-esteem depends on your acceptance of me. So it's okay if you don't like me, I like me. Now, Black African, y'all, come on now, we having church in here. Now, Black Africans and Caribbeans experience slavery lower for a shorter period of time, and they experience family structure and role modeling for a longer period of time. The mayor was Black. The governor was Black. The premier was Black. The dentist was Black. The barber was Black. The thief was Black. Everybody was Black. Together families. So they have higher self-esteem, but they have lower confidence because they didn't succeed in a market economy. It makes perfect sense. So when you that's why when Black Africans or Caribbeans come here, within 2 or 3 years, they're killing it. Yet the Ethiopians in Washington, D.C., they're at the Park Hyatt, parking the cars. Within a couple of days, they've hired the buddies to be valets. Within a few weeks, they're also the taxi drivers. Within a couple months, they got they put the money in for an Uber car. Now they got a Black car. Now they got 3 Black cars. Now they live together. Now they have their entire staff of the front of the lobby. They have the valets. They got the taxi. They got the Ubers. They're willing to rent you an apartment if you want one. I mean, but that's because the hustle was the only ingredient that they missed. The opportunity. Black people, Black Americans are the role models for the world. But we've got a little bit confused because we think that's enough. We're also depressed. I think that 70% of Black Americans clinically undiagnosed depressed. And I can't prove that number. I love number. I can't prove that one. But whenever I talk to somebody, our people in a real conversation, can I get an amen? So when we're having a real conversation, we just have to heal so we can deal. Now, if we can heal, which is real wealth, and heal ourselves and love ourselves, now we can have a relationship. Now, in a relationship, it's the only time where it should be multiplication and not math. So if in a relationship, if 2 + 2 does not equal 6, 8, or 10, what are you doing? If you're not better together, what are you doing? When you go to the club tonight, what's tonight? Tonight's Saturday. When you go to the club tonight, what's tonight? Friday. Entrepreneurs, we work 18 hours. They keep getting a job. We can work 18 hours and we have a nap for 3 hours, for 6 hours. That's it. So yeah, I don't know what day it is. You go to the club tonight? Oh man, she's fine. Oh, he's so handsome. What's your name? Oh, what's your credit score? And I'm only partially joking. After the looks fall away and the body falls away, that's your business partner for life. 2 + 2 should equal 6, 8, or 10. If you're not better together, what are you doing? So this thing we're talking about is about self-esteem is the entire ball game. If we can't fix this, we're done. No one else can hurt us, will hurt us. If we can fix this, I believe we will and we are. No one can stop us. Black Africans and Black.
Yeah, I felt that right there was tough love. I felt was a lot of facts and tough love. Certain things I disagree a bit slightly, but not enough for me to, talk about it. But I you back?
Yeah, I'm back, man. I was having a problem with StreamYard.
Yeah, but I don't know if you heard it, but I totally agree with what he said, man. It was very much on point, and especially with the historical context, and to me, it's very complimentary. He's like, we're like two halves of a whole. You know what I'm saying? If we if we were to come together, if the Africans, Caribbeans, and Black Americans were to come together, oh my God. It's game over, man. Game fucking over. Because Africa has the talent and the resources. Black Americans has the talent and they're on the world stage, right? Caribbeans, same thing. Have a little bit of both. Have a little bit of both of the African concept as well as the American concept, as far as like cultural opportunity and talent. Like I don't understand. Like again, in 2000, when my daughter was born, I was born in 2002. In 2002, right? 2002, 2003, I was like, why are Black people in this situation that we're in? And I took it upon myself to do a deep dive. I was living in Virginia at that time. So, it was a lot of, you go to the museums there and everything like that. There's a lot of good literature there. And I was like, wow. And I've come to, and it still is, politics, religion, education. That's what's holding us back. And it's mostly politics and education. No. Well, it's religion and it's all three. Certain days, one is more than the other, but it's politics, religion, and education. Because you can find someone, yeah, I'm pro-black, this, that, but then they have a Islamic Christian identity that is like overcompensating, where you can't even work with them. So yeah. So that's about it. I don't know if you have anything to say in closing.
Well, I agree on what he was saying. I agree with what you said too about some of the people with the religion. They are too religious for you to work with. And when you said talked about politics, I agree. We are, as a group of people, as a whole, we are politically ignorant. We have not just being politically ignorant and not just about the religion. We have learned to accept being treated bad. I don't think we know how to live if some white bigot don't have his foot on our neck. We think that is something, and you know how I feel about that. We think that is something to brag on. We survived this and we survived that, but we never, have you ever noticed, we always talk about we survived? Do you ever hear us talking about we lived?
Or we thrived. Sometimes, yeah, I hear you think like surviving is just it. Hey, we're surviving, but sometimes you want to thrive. Thriving is living. Surviving is not really living.
Then when it comes once again back to the politics, we listen to too many celebrities, and the new celebrities, in all honesty, the new celebrities are these people on social media, on YouTube. They're the new celebrities. YouTube people are the new celebrities in amongst the people that call themselves Black American. Not that guy who was just speaking, because I understand how he can use African American and Black American interchangeably, because he never, even though he said a Black American, he never took the African out of him. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's
these Black Americans, like those people that the guy you were talking to, we don't know how to do anything else. Struggling, we think that is something to be proud of. Listening to a fake celebrity, if the celebrity said, or if there's a narrative, I did a live one time talking about narrative. So, we follow the narrative more than we follow anything else. We don't want facts, right? I'm gonna say this, then I'm gonna finish. I'm gonna send you this video too. And send me that video where that guy was speaking. It was a Republican politician from Mississippi, right? He said he was surprised Trump got as many black votes as he did. He said, man, he have no idea how a black person could vote Republican. He said, man, when we have our meetings and our conferences, we never think of anything to do for black people to make them want to vote for us. We didn't want, and I'm gonna send it to you. He said we never did anything. We never talked about if we do this, black people would vote for us. That was not our concern, them voting for us, right? So then there was this other guy, I think he'd been on Jubilee, but he had his own thing, channel. It was a young white boy called One Liberal Team versus 20 MAGA conservatives.
Yeah, it's either, I follow them, it's either Dean or Parker.
Did you hear what he said when he was talking? Now, I heard him on Roland Martin because I had never heard of it. And I wish Roland Martin had played the whole thing, but I'm saying what he said. He was like, I've been on here an hour. He said, I've been on this live an hour. Have you ever heard, he said, when these MAGA people call in, do they ever say they like Trump policies? The answer is no. They like Trump because Trump has made it normal again to be blatantly bigoted. Now, I didn't hear the phone calls because, like I said, Roland Martin didn't play that part, but he was talking about the phone calls he received on his live. And he said, when you hear him, just N-word this and N-word that, and he said they're real explicit with their bigotry and hatred toward black people. And when you hear these white people saying this thing, and then when I say black people, they chose the KKK and the neo-Nazis over their own people. I'm not just saying this, even the white people.
They're saying the same thing. They're saying the same thing. Because, and they can't figure it out. That's why I'm like, they're like, who invited these niggas here? Like, I know you could vote, but we didn't tell you, we didn't offer you anything. And these are the black people that I believe they bought into the quote unquote the white version of the American dream, and they think, well, oh yeah. There's a place in there for me. I want what you want. I'm American just like you. Race doesn't matter. Systematic white supremacy. What is that? They buy into that. So that's probably why they're like, what's going on? So again, it has to do with self-worth.
So the next time you talk to your people, they'll show you beyond. And if you on there and let me know, I'll come over there and support you, right? But this is the question you asked. The question I asked for, Cad, and that other guy, and neither one of them never answered. Y'all for reparations. How is it? It's okay for somebody to. How is it okay whether you voted for him or not? If you didn't vote for him, you still voted for him because you didn't vote for the person that could have stopped the military and everything in our community, right? So how is it it's okay for this guy to be president, and part of his campaign was he's against reparations. Kamala is for reparations. You remember what he was sending out? Kamala is for reparations. It's going to hurt the taxpayers. I'm against reparations. The people who say they want reparations completely ignored that and won't say nothing. Even the guy she was running against said she was for reparations, and he is not. But they're okay with him being in charge.
But I think the thing it is misinformation. I think people are still stuck in when Kamala Harris was running the first time,
when they asked her, "Are you going to get reparations for black people?" She was like, "No." So they're still
What
stuck
she
on
said
that. So
was, I'm not going to do anything specifically for black people.
yeah, they still stuck on that. So even if I don't think that message was even, again, she had a short time running. But I
What you're
don't think
doing
that
is
message was even. A
what
lot of
you're
people
doing
don't
is
even
giving
know
them
about
excuse.
that. So more
You
people
give,
know about her saying no to reparations than her saying yes to that. And I think that was the problem.
but you giving them a pass now. That ain't the problem.
No, I'm not giving them a pass. I'm saying like
they still chose the Klan. Okay, but part of his, watch this, don't even mention her, but part of his campaign running, who they wanted to be in charge, said he was against reparations. So why it's okay for him to be in charge? So why was it okay for him to win?
my
He let y'all know he was
FBA
against
answer.
reparations.
My FBA answer to that would be is that he'll get rid of all the immigrants, including the black ones, and then that will give us. It's the same thing that the white supremacists are saying, that they're taking our jobs and replacement theory or whatever. Once we get rid of all of them, from a black perspective, once they get rid of all the black immigrants and the brown people, then the white man will realize that we were here first and he owes us, and everything will just fall into place. That's their ideology. That's the ideology. That's their ideology. We the original niggas here. We want no new niggas coming in here fucking our shit up, trying to trying to take the attention off of us. We don't need no new black people here. That's their ideology in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's it. But I'm just, they can't. Like I said, they won't answer that question. See, you tried to give them an answer. When it's
I
been
mean, talking to them enough, being in certain space with them, that's the common denominator. You know what I'm saying? And you have a lot of black people that don't consider themselves FBA. They say that's fucking crazy. Obviously, they say that's crazy, but it's the same points. Again, letting white people off the hook and saying the bane of our existence is black immigrants. And I'm going to vote for the white supremacists. Hey, some black people get fucked up in the process. Oh, well, the greater good is getting rid of them so our lives here could be better. That I kid you not. I could show you receipts. I could show you conversations. That's what they think. That's what they think. You know what I'm saying? Maybe some way maybe finding the white man will find it in his kind heart and say, you know what? I like our niggers. We don't need some new niggas. You know what? We've been doing the niggas we have here wrong for too long. You know what? Let's do right by them. Like, I don't know. The thing, after 400 years, the white man's going to find kindness in his heart and give them what they deserve just out the kindness of his heart. So again, I'm not against reparations or anything like that. My question is, and I never get an answer for them because they don't think that far, they don't think that deep. And other people that are so-called FBA ask that question: what are you going to do in order to force white people to give you reparations? If you think they're gonna get it, they're gonna give you out of the kindness of their heart. What are you doing? You never get an answer. You don't get a coherent answer. Put it like that, without them insulting you or feeling attacked like little bitches. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I'm asking you a question because if you have a good way of getting it right, I'll apply that. If you get it first, good. I'm all for that. And if you got it first, you know what? Let me apply the AFRICOM. Let me apply the other Latin American countries, and we could do that. But they don't have a plan. All this is just venting your frustration. You have a hard day. You know what? You can go online and call a bunch of black people names. That's all that it is.
And that's exactly what they do. But I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna get off here because I'm gonna lay down. I got to get up at 4 a.m. But once again, like I said, man, there's a lot of these people and that call themselves pro-black that's glad that there's some white boy who hate them over them, and they trying to use, but this is gonna make us come together. No, it's not. Well, I ain't gonna say it ain't gonna make them come together, and I'm not gonna say what it's gonna do for them, but it's not gonna make nobody like me want to come together with them. I'm just being honest with you. Hopefully they can come together, but what I see is a lot of fake people who talking about they're pro-black or they're pan-African who want to be treated bad by some white guy who had told him he hated him, who have told him how he wanted to hurt them, who have passed laws, who sat there and let a Haitian woman die in the custody of ICE, who had a black woman here who was dying from pregnancy and she couldn't get an abortion. So they just made her an incubator. She died while she was pregnant, but they were able to save the baby. And
was that woman when they did the when they rolled back, they went back to states' rights with Roe v. Wade, and it was a woman in Georgia, right? And she had like a yeah, that was so messed up. I remember that.
And this is what I mean when I say these type of black people want to see this type of stuff happen to black people. They're okay with more than 500,000 black people losing their jobs right now. And then they say, yeah, but now we come together. Come together and do what? Come together with what? You don't have no money. You done lost your money because you done lost your job. We the only people in the world. We gonna take over the world with not one red cent. KW Don put in the chat. We say reparations.
And they ain't fighting nobody either, physically either.
And they're not. KW Don put in the chat. He said reparations is a pipe dream. I agree with that, but that's not the point. See, don't everybody miss the point. For all these people that was talking about reparations, how is it okay for a guy to run his campaign on, I'm against reparations. Why is it okay for that person to be in charge? And they never say anything about reparations since they've been in charge, right?
Nope, because they only blame the Democrats. And we were supposed to do a show about that. Why all of a sudden there's this quietness and this like you don't hear anything about reparations no more since Trump became president.
This man got
why? Because Tariq Nasheed stopped mentioning it, Yvette Carnell stopped mentioning it, as far as I know, and there's no talk of that. Now they're talking about everything else. What the Nigerians doing, what the Jamaicans doing, and they're making things about that. And maybe once in a while talk about white people, but with kids gloves. Definitely with kids gloves. I'm definitely talking about no Mexicans because I live in California and I don't want to get that work. So I'm just gonna concentrate on Caribbeans and Africans. It's very cowardly. But let me play this. I'm
gonna listen to it offline, man. I'm finna step down. I got to go to bed, man. I'm gonna listen to it though.
All right, cool. Yeah, thanks for pulling up. All right, so let me play this again, and this will be our outro, pretty much. For those of you who haven't heard it, Tariq Nasheed again has changed the definition of what it is to be in the FBA. Before, it used to be off and on. It used to be, well, you just need one parent. Well, you need one parent that stand on their head wearing leather shoes. You just need one parent that's eating a bowl of grits and gravy with a biscuit at a Waffle House. Then they parent like it's dumb. But I'll play for you guys who hasn't heard of it yet. His new definition of what it is to be a FBA.
Like that, yeah.
Well, the part that I don't understand, though, and correct me, is you're telling me that being a foundational Black American isn't a choice; it's a lineage,
right?
So, if Drake's lineage through his father is FBA, doesn't that automatically make him FBA just by bloodline?
No, also blood and land, same thing. Yeah, land too. You're not in America. You're in Canada.
So
you know what I'm saying?
You take the same Drake, same mother.
Mm-hmm.
He grows up, let's say in Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
He would be FBA,
right? If he was born here, yes. If he was born on this land, experiencing Memphis, because Memphis has a very unique history.
Yes,
Memphis ain't no goddamn Canada. You know what I'm saying? So, like that, you know.
Well, the part that I don't understand, though, and correct me.
So we obviously know that has nothing to do who you are. Your ethnicity doesn't change based upon where you were born. If you're Black and you were born and your parents had you in Scandinavia or Switzerland or Finland, you're still a Black person. It doesn't matter that, well, you weren't born in Africa or you weren't born in Memphis or whatever. It's really stupid. So yeah, I would like to thank everybody. It's been a long one. It's been a good one. I enjoyed it. I think we covered a lot. As you know, a lot here. We covered a lot. I think we got through most of it. Kind of skipped something, but it's no big deal. You can check out the Jubilee debate. So I just want to shout out to the Be Fair Show. Shout out to Q. That was good unpacked with the panel. I appreciate being on the panel. On my panel here, thank you on KB Don 7. Thank you for pulling up. RG Titan, my brother, of course, thank you for coming up. Brother Bakari, thank you for pulling up, being a part of the panel discussion. To be fair show, shout out to Q. Thank you, brother, for pulling up, being a part of the Discord. And my brother Chuck, thank you for being part of the panel as well, holding the chat down and pulling up. And not last, but definitely not least, our brother Anthony McPhail, thank you for pulling up. Brother, yeah. Thank you all for making this a very good, interesting live. It was a long one, but I really enjoyed myself. So try to come up soon and do another one. You know how life is sometimes. Try to get it in when I can, but I'm going to try to do a little bit more. But again, peace, Black power, and just love each other, man. Like, I hope this Jubilee thing showed to people who may be FBA adjacent or on the fence, showing that it has to do with your mentality. It has nothing to do with where you're from, right? Because Black people are not a monolith. Don't have it think that all Black people are the same. We are very diverse. We are the kings and queens of humanity. So don't let anybody put us in the box, even another so-called Black man. Don't let them put you in the box thinking that we're all one thing. We're more powerful together than we are apart. Peace and love and Black power. Be safe out there. Oh, and happy Labor Day.